Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to those in chamber and online. I'd like to call the regular council meeting for the purposes of capital budget on Wednesday, December 3rd to order at 5:02 p.m. And any volunteers to deliver the land acknowledgement? I will do that then. The town of Smoky Lake respectfully acknowledges that we are situated on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional lands of First Nations and Métis people. And just a side note, refrain from your cell phone use if you know where your cell phone is. And just a little bit of housekeeping. Yesterday's meeting, I provided direction to the staff or our employees, and I wanted to apologize for that. It's not my place as a chair to tell you when you should leave or enter the room. So your direction is from our CAO. So thank you for being patient with me. I'm learning too, and just keeping in mind that council has one in play, and that's our CAO. So I want to lead by example. So thank you for your attendance and your participation, and you can leave and go whenever you want. Don't listen to me, okay? Thank you. We have an agenda in front of us. Would there be any additions or deletions to the agenda? CAO Fighton?
Yeah, December 16th council session.
Okay, where would you like to add that to?
Whatever Carly says, 5.1. She's the keeper of the agenda item, so that would be great. 5.1.
Okay.
We have those few items we have space to add.
Yeah, so they were deferred. I believe they'll be rolled over to their appropriate
So 5.1.
December 16th regular council meeting.
Council session, it includes some of the things we brought up last night, the IT training, etc. So then we also have the town tour debrief, new council check-in, and personnel items.
Motion was for tonight.
Yes, would that be okay? Or it was.
I'm not sure timing wise. I think we just got to keep in mind that we want to spend dedicated time towards the capital budget meeting. Otherwise, I worry about the approval process down the road. So we may end up having to defer some items, I think, near the end if we reach that time limit of
8 o'clock.
leave it at your discretion, but
We're reaching 8 o'clock. We're deferring a lot.
So should we put it in there? Do we have to put it in there
we
to
can-
defer?
we
As
can-
yesterday.
No, we'll have them carried over, and then at that point, as we, so none of us turn into a pumpkin at 8 o'clock, we will defer again if need be. Okay, does that sound okay?
Yes.
And respectful to all? Okay, so I'm looking at this time for a motion to accept the
No.
agenda. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I will pay attention and not cut you off.
Okay, the capital budgets,
December 16th.
there used to be, item line.
Sorry, just for Carly, just giving her clarity on the addition. Okay.
There used to be an item line, in the past for nonprofits that the town would look after or help out in budgeting X amount of dollars, $20,000, $30,000 for services into the, if there's any needs for, let's say, people wanted to build a nonprofits, club room or, let's say the Snowmobile Club decides to build a shop and you want services provided to them and at no cost, but absorbed through the town. In the past, the community used to do that for other nonprofits such as the Lions Club and when we get their bills and things like that. And I'd never seen it on you. You remember that?
I don't.
You don't remember that? Okay.
So if I
So-
may, would that have transitioned into grants to individuals and organizations? That they could come to us if there was a need and that it would be council approved, but not necessarily capital? Or am I thinking of something different?
Well, what it is that there's cost to the town because of the labor charged back on behalf of the public works doing the work you supply, let's say, water and sewer into the thing. I know the electrical was cost of through ATCO, and then it was given back as a donation later, and then it was just to help out these different clubs, so there was not a huge monetary thing. And when it comes back to the municipality doing it, the costs are actually a lot cheaper doing it themselves than actually billing it out as a.
I think what you're referring to, kind contributions to nonprofits.
Sure.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet about that. I just know that that's
Well, can we
typically.
add something like that to the general or to the budget to,
So
or
for,
how tight is the budget?
so for clarity, is it
It's up to you to decide.
capital or operation?
That would be operational.
That'd be operational?
I realize some of the projects that these groups have might be capital in nature, but
So-
I think I understand what you're getting
But in
at.
the past, what we did, such as by the Lions Club. We did actually a water line that went in, because there was no water line to service the other additional lots.
Mhm,
So the town absorbed that part.
yeah,
And so in future, if the town decides to service, let's say, along the rail, East Railway Avenue or whatever, for further development for, tiny houses or whatever, you can put in services, so you have to look in the whole scope of
Yeah.
dealing. And it's far from, it's doable, but it's just all about the dollars involved to doing it.
so I think if there's a certain project or a certain group that has a request that really is dealt with one-off, we have in our operational routine contributions to nonprofits, that's in our operational budget. But I think what you're more than referring to is like potential in-kind or assistance towards capital projects by these groups, and I think that those would be dealt with by one-off conversations with council.
Yeah, just bringing it to attention
Yeah.
because there's something maybe coming up and.
Yes, and I probably have already had the conversations
So
about,
you're not,
yeah.
cash strapped and,
I did receive a call from a nonprofit group today,
Yeah.
and what I've informed them to provide some information, just continue to send them my way, I guess, and then I can figure out if they need to come back by way of a delegation, or if it's an RFD, or if it's a routine budget implication.
because it's all about their dollars and their grants and whatever's applicable, so we can make everything work.
Send them my way and I will
Okay.
get them through the
Bringing it to
agenda. Yeah,
So,
All right.
would you be adding anything to the agenda?
Well, I guess not.
might be more to come, I think, probably next week.
Do you feel comfortable accepting the agenda with the
Sure.
5 amendments? So the first one, 5.1, December regular council meeting on the 16th. 4 deferred items from yesterday. 13.1 was the IT tech discussion. 13.2 was the debrief from the town tour. 14.2 was the new council check-in. 14.3 was the personnel.
Move.
Councillor Kodlak, all in favor? The motion is carried. Thank you. We will move on to section 3.1, greater equipment report. And thank you for preparing that for us, John. The floor is yours.
Council requested for some additional information about the grader equipment owned by the town. I can summarize it as there's been no significant major repairs required in 2024 or 2025. I would classify the expenses as routine, just a few tire repairs and a couple minor fitting repairs, some miscellaneous things. The equipment has 11,535 total hours. We do have one local contact that we can call if that current grader was to have problems and was out of service for a period. I'm still working on getting some more. The only other option, well, we could possibly use plow trucks in its place as well if we had to. But it's in terms of a grader, the only other option would be to rent one, which would involve heavy hauling equipment to bring it here, which would be quite costly. Do you have any questions related to
Yes,
this?
I do. Condition of the grader, we did a tour yesterday. I understand Jordan's the one that was servicing it. And, looked at the moldboard, earrings and all that, doesn't look like anything's chewed up or anything. Seen stuff that was almost in the dump that were actually was in nice shape too, but I'm just saying on this condition of this unit. If you're estimating at 250 hours, which I think is kind of generous, kind of high. Usage, that thing would be good for the next 20, 30 years now. So just saying, I don't know what is idea of people actually running it. People, at one time, we didn't have a grader operator. So we actually hired a gentleman to come in and run the grader. At a just hourly rate and did everything, bladed everything out, and came and the rest of the crew just came, picked everything up, and everybody was on their way. It actually worked very efficient at that time. So. Sorry.
No, I don't want, I wanna let everyone
See
finish.
your hand.
No, I wanna let everyone finish.
Go ahead.
You finished?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree with Dan 100%. Industrial equipment like that, 20,000 hours, no problem. Cause that does pretty light work. Snow work is pretty light work on a grader. Yeah, I looked at it yesterday too. It looks fine. And in 2018, we invested 53,000 in tranny. That investment, we need to keep it for a bunch of years. And I have no fear of that thing leaving us anywhere. Yeah, no,
You're finished? Okay.
Yeah.
So and thank you, John, and the conversation. So I thought the ask before us was to look at the existing grader and maybe downgrade to something smaller. Was that not the ask, or am I missing something here?
It was mainly just a note about getting a narrower moldboard, so it's the piece on the bottom that scrapes the snow. That's the main issues, particularly with alleyways. So now,
So then,
But that's for negotiating in back alleys and that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, really, I think farther down it lists some sort of a resurfacer or something like that. I can try that or other stuff to do back alleys, or simply you've got a beautiful skid steer for backblading parts of the back alleys where you can't access with the grader. I think that would be just fine.
they also have attachments for the skid steer now. They got like a grader front.
Yeah.
And you know what, if we see during the summer, let's get Branch or whoever, bring one of those things out for a demo, let's see what it does.
Have a
If it
look.
looks good, we'll talk about it.
And that can be used for other stuff, landscaping, whatever.
So, may I?
Sure.
I seem to, and pardon my ignorance, I seem to be missing something. So what's before us, we wanted a report, the update, we got the report, the hours. And so are we thinking of buying something different and it's in the capital budget, or are we looking at adding attachments to it, or I'm a little, what's the problem, I guess? Or go ahead.
My question was, we never used the grader on back alleys. Never did. It's a hindrance to run them down back alleys because of the size of it. And there's only so much width that you're dealing with. All you're doing is you're gonna be fighting going down back alleys with a grader. Use a smaller piece of equipment. If you guys are interested, like Mr. Churn said, look at a attachment for the skid steer. They make every single attachment possible for back alley gradering. Some pretty neat setups, and that's what other communities use. Just like in the summertime, when it's wet, what do you call it? That's the time to start filling in the holes, grading, molding your back alleys. You can't do it when it's dry. You have to do things at the right timing. We mentioned that the other day. And that's your deal to deal with. And you figure everything out around your schedule. Not telling you how to do your job, I'm just saying that you can figure it out.
Yeah, the right amount of moisture, definitely.
Yeah, that's how things work, eh?
Okay, so, and thank you for that. So what I'm hearing then, we have a recommendation prepared for us and the information that was asked. Do you feel comfortable that you received the accurate information based on John's report?
Perfect.
And so rather than, you got the report and the recommendation is to look at the replacement grader in 2026, but I don't, from what I hear, it might not be going in that direction, or am I reading the room?
2056.
2056, yeah.
No, really, that's actually.
Very close.
Yeah.
The decision now is we're gonna keep it forever and a day.
Yeah,
So should we consult the operators, or is it any more work from admin that we need to hear? Or I see Molly has her hand up.
Oh, it's just higher picture. It's just, I think it is critical for us to, similar to the infrastructure or the asset, I'll just call it an asset management plan that MPE, our engineers, had worked on about 10 years ago. I do think that's a really critical document and something to maintain going forward. I think we're kind of losing sight of having a proper replacement plan for all of our equipment and all of our assets. And I think this is important to have moving forward. So I will just say, to say we're gonna keep a grader forever and ever, amen, I'm not sure if that's a solution, but I think we need to start looking at when things should be replaced so that we're making decisions that, maybe there's a buyback, maybe there's other options we can look at. You don't want to run your equipment to the ground until there's no value. Sometimes you can trade in, or there might be other things we need to consider, and so.
stuff like that, but like sort of interrupt, but I mean. Corporations just waiting for municipal equipment because it's never overworked, highly maintained. Okay, but that thing is 25 years old. It's already depreciated out and we spent the 55 grand on it. It's in good shape. I think I would just like to say for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Nothing in place.
I think we're all on the same page.
No, like rather than spend major cash now, let's target that to something that really needs attention, and revisit this in 5 or 10 years time.
Yeah.
And go from there. Like in 10 years time, we'll probably put another $2,500 on, which is negligible for equipment like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we may be running an antique, but it isn't really an antique. It's still a pretty good unit, and a comfortable unit to operate. It's not GUNK.
So
Yeah.
we also, if I may, and I don't want to put you on the spot, Ashley, but you're welcome to join us here at, we can talk to an actual operator.
Yeah.
And you want to weigh in or contribute, I don't want to, I'm not trying to disrespect you, John, but I just want to hear so that we're making a very informed decision. Tegan hasn't weighed in, she might want to do so. We rarely had, I shouldn't say rarely, but previous council didn't have people within the industry that would know equipment. So this is what I'm going to, I just want everybody to weigh in. So we're making the best decision possible and have that spirited discussion and land in a good place. So Ashley, you're welcome to join us. John can speak on your behalf or.
The only thing I have to add is, yes, the alleys are narrow, like Dan says, we shouldn't be running that big grader down them.
Yeah.
There's manholes in some of them, I didn't know about, I've caught some of them. But if we're allowed to look at getting something to fix these alleys, because they're getting in bad shape. We just don't have a piece of gear that can properly get the gravel back up and leveled and packed.
And thank you for that. It speaks to some of the, we might have discussed this on the tour yesterday, over an overall master plan. So do we have an action plan? We have a street plan. We know there are some bad roads, which are the worst, and how are we going to address that over a period of time? So I think we have some work to do, and all of this takes time to build the plan, but
So I'll be your indicator. I do townwide garage sales in just about all northeastern Alberta. And I drive down every horse back alley you can actually ride on. And you know what? Smoky Lakes is actually one of the top back alleys in this area.
Okay, you can be our advocate.
We had a gentleman the other day, facilitator from Redwater. He mentioned the things. I said, you better go double check your back alley. Because you're gonna break a wheel bearing on. Sorry.
Well, so again, this is a good discussion. Are we ready to make some sort of motion based on the recommendations, or would you like to?
I'll make a motion that on this particular item.
Oh, sorry, can I say one thing? So it sounds like, and I just want to clarify this, that there is a plan of action to be putting money aside every year for preparation for the future, like Travis and I, with our rentals, we keep 10% of all income from our rentals in a separate account for things to break in the future. Do we have that built into our budget?
We factor in equipment, like repair and maintenance costs. I mean, Crystal can chime in, but I'm not speaking out of turn, but
It's like, for example, we know we have to replace our windows. They're fine now, but we just keep putting aside money so that one day we can replace them without having to pull from somewhere that it doesn't exist. Does that exist right now? Because it sounds like it's gonna be good for a long time, this machine.
I think what you're referring to is having an equipment replacement plan,
Yes,
which I have not to date seen.
which is a
So-
concern to me.
So some of it might be, I'll go to you next.
Okay.
So some of it might be a reserve, an equipment reserve we might have, or I'm
So-
guessing. Go ahead, Dan.
So this is the question I had the other day. We allocated monies for in reserves. And then it was told to me the other day there was no reserves in certain categories. And then we're supposed to come back to council and that never did. So the question was asked. Sorry, we did put money away, for instance, for the water reservoir. And allocated X amount of dollars. And council after council, and then. I know I was there. We've made the motions, now. There was no reserves, so I understand that councils of the day can move money around. They have certain
So
ideas, so in your respect. Capital asset replacement,
go ahead,
Crystal,
go ahead.
sorry.
No, you're fine.
Well, a good practice is to budget for your amortization costs
Yeah.
annually.
Mhm.
Our amortization cost is about $500,000, give or take. So that money should be set aside every year for that replacement in time.
So is it based on a percentage, or we just look at
It's a
the ball?
formula from our capitalization.
So the
So do we
question,
have that or do we not?
No,
there,
we do not, but
the money's not there.
And
I don't think a lot of municipalities budget their amortization costs.
we do it at the end of the year, we apply it to
And then it
the
goes into
final
accumulated service.
different accounting practice, or, and you would remember that from before, that part didn't change.
Yeah, but you can't use your borrowing limit just to. Say you got money.
Well,
So
and
this could be a start, rather
So-
than putting 250 into a grid where it's aside.
so the way I think this would be an effective meeting is when we feel that maybe we haven't been heard, or if we're looking for something from admin. Bring it in a motion, it can come back to a future meeting, and if you're, say, talking about a reserve and you'd like to see a reserve report. The floor is yours if you'd like to make that motion, or so that we feel that we're directing administration and we're getting the answers, and that we can move forward with that amount of knowledge.
Because with respect, council needs to know where we're at on.
Oh, for sure.
I agree. Okay, so anyone else would like to weigh in, and then someone will be making the motion?
I make motion, we just address the grader. Not in the near future, just whenever, like, I don't think there's an issue there to worry about. In the next 5 years, honest to God,
Okay,
especially for this term.
so would you accept friendly amendment to the motion that Counselor Churn moves to accept the information presented to us at this time and look at future asset management plans for greater equipment over the next 5 years. How does that sound? And you accept that amendment, administration, are you okay with that?
Can you repeat that again?
So Counselor Churn moves to accept the information as presented in the verbal and written report from our Public Works Manager, Jonathan Robinson, and to,
Public Works Manager.
yeah, did I say that? No.
No, just no names, I would.
Oh, sorry,
position
Public
there,
Works
yeah.
Manager, and direct administration to look at an asset management plan for the grader over the next 5 years. For replacement.
Which is be done, right? Or you,
So I would say that council could consider, like, do we want setting a time frame for an asset management plan at this time might be very challenging, but I would say it is something that it should be considered as part of the 2027 budget deliberations, I would say. And we can bring forward an RFD in the meantime about what asset management could look like. With the hopes of having something, I would say, drafted for the next year's budget cycle. Because if we get back on track with a regular budget process, we're already looking at starting those conversations again in August. So.
Friendly amendment then?
No, the discussion here was that thing's good for the next 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I don't think we have to
So-
revisit it in our term.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I'm not worried about the next term going forward. I don't think we're leaving about that in the bag.
No.
If I can just suggest, maybe like what a better motion might be is just for council to defer the consideration of a replacement grader
Indefinitely.
for a future year. And it can be, things could happen within 4 years that we can't predict. I think don't corner yourself, but just note that it's not gonna be considered this year.
Or no meeting.
It's up to administration to bring forward if there's something that changes along the way that impacts that decision, but I would just say for a future budget year.
And you know, if,
'Cause I remember dealing with the contractor that was servicing it, and he said that the motor was strong, hydraulics are good into it, and the gearing was all fine in it. So the only issue that we had was the transmission. And we ended up finding it and put some money back into it, and that's what we had, because it was the choice of the day. Spend 50,000 or, spend 100,000 and get a can of worms, right? So we knew what we had, and there was it's just maybe it's not the newest and best simplest machine to run, but sometimes you have to work around things. It just comes back to the operator.
thank you for that. And so I like the idea. I'm gonna channel my inner Bruce and I'm gonna withdraw that motion and frame it that Counselor Churn accept the information that was prepared for us from the Public Works Manager and defer the grader until the 2027 budget discussion and bring back to council 1 year from today, the usage, the hours. So we now know the hours now and we can measure again in 2027. Would that be okay with everyone? Yeah, that whole part was not the motion, but ended at period 2027. Bring back a report on usage, just like you did today, and greatly appreciate it. Would that be okay? Any more discussion? All right, all in favor, calling the question, motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So let's go on now to 3.2, the preliminary capital budget discussions. And so we're on page 5 of 27, and I see that it was prepared and presented by our Public Works Manager. So John, or Jonathan, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So this is only a preliminary capital budget item prepared with potential capital budget items that council can consider. So it's council's discretion, any revisions or changes they would like to see.
You asking questions yet? Or no? Okay.
You can, yeah, you can ask.
I was just in conversation with CCs. Always an issue. Hard to shut off the water if they're not working. It's unfair for you guys to be fighting with everything. And due to the better quality water now than we had in the past, where are we at? And there was a list of all the CCs that were somewhat aged, and they needed a time frame up to get the replacement. Are you aware of that list, or?
I've seen a list. I'm not exactly sure if it's the same one that you're referring to. So, and it's typically approached as needed. If we go to shut off water to a property and we are having issues with it, then we work on getting that repaired or replaced.
So another factor was we had leaking CCs. And that was dealing with water consumption, cost to the town, since town's paying for water. That becomes a water issue, and maybe we'll get further down the list here and finding out what exactly is the water consumption and what are the lots to know.
Go ahead, Tom.
There was a water leak detection survey done before I was here. I think that was 2023 or 2022.
There was a report issued by MP.
Yeah, and then there was a couple things that they flagged and were investigated and dealt with, but they use like auditory specialized equipment to detect that. They can
In 2022?
or 2023 recently anyway.
Yeah, Crystal might know better, but it
So
was
where are we at with the numbers of our water losses? Because at one time it used to be huge. And we were paying less money for water, now we're paying more money for water, and I was just wondering, it's just not water running down the drain, it's no pun intended, it's just.
So, if I may, if I want to stay on your.
Sorry for going off.
No, I do
but
want to,
that
I
ties
want to
into-
stay on your good side. And so is that more of a, not a capital budget question or more a report you'd like to come back to a
Well,
regular
it's
council?
huge capital budget, because if we have more leaks, because we had issues in the trailer park, we had issues. Some of the aging areas, so. That's what was bringing the question, to make sure everything was being upgraded, so we don't have any of these issues.
Go ahead.
Just to speak to that, we have done a couple of CC replacements in the trailer park. What we do it as needed, so if there is an issue that we encounter, then we work to repair it. Replacing them just like it's hard to say exactly what the life cycle would be for a CC valve. Some last much longer than others. So just replacing them, just to replace them, may not be the most cost-effective approach.
Would you think an average would be like 5 a year? Is that what it's sort of looking like it's
I'd say
trending?
5 to 10, depending on.
So if we budgeted for like 8, we're probably safe for this year. We're in the game.
And they can cost different amounts depending on if they're like in the streets or like if the CC is directly next to the main line, then it's a much easier job to do.
What's the variation in cost?
Its cost is quite low if we are able to do it ourselves, which we have done. But if we are contracting it out, it can be anywhere from I'd say like 4,000 to 6,000, depending on
If you do it
the
yourself,
site. Sorry,
if you do it yourself, what would you estimate?
it would just be the parts and the equipment used and the backfill. So I would say probably maybe like $1,000, but we mainly just do it when there's access to the main line to turn the corporation stop.
Go ahead.
One of my concerns is I would like administration to come back with a water loss calculation. So if you don't have it yet,
So.
or unless it's ready here.
Okay, so hang on one sec. Crystal, do you remember what year and I'm sorry to put you on the spot, do you remember what year the MPE study was? I can look, is it 2022 or 2023?
We'll look.
And then we'll go to Ashley next,
Yeah,
just hang on
Ashley.
one sec, just hang on. Hold on.
Sorry.
No, but I'm gonna make sure I capture everybody.
The water loss study started in 2022. And we do have that report that we could bring forward.
Okay, so there is data. Is that gonna, so if we frame that in a motion, that it would come back, is that going to meet the needs of Councillor Kudla?
No,
Or the
the
whole
point is,
council?
I wanna know what the water usage of to date. Like right now, if we're losing a lot of water volume. Compared to. What we're selling compared to what we're losing, what we're buying,
So
so.
we do our.
The leakages or loss.
Right,
That's what simple math was, so we paid for so much water, we sold so much water. Where did it go? There were some miscalculations in the past, dealing with
So,
other high users, and then we got that all figured out, so. Administration should have all the information, looking back in the past, so there shouldn't be any problem with variances, so.
and so, thank you, you're finished.
Yeah.
So we get reports quarterly, with all our solar, our utility reports come quarterly. They will be coming in December to the regular council meeting. Or sorry, January, that will be the year end, and that will be forward on January. That, I understand where you're coming from, that might impact your decision to make a decision for the budget, but the request, I believe, is C for water CC. We're budgeting $30,000, does that
Yeah,
tie in, or?
but if there's more leakage, usually the majority of your leaks are on CCs. So,
But we have some in inventory too, right?
yeah,
Because we're not using them. Go ahead, Ashley.
In regards to Dan's question about the waters leaking, so when they did that survey. They did find water leaks and there was 2 or 3 CCs repaired at that time that were leaking that they found. The MP, that study they did.
Yeah.
There was one in the trailer park. Or 2 in the trailer park, there was one in the RV park that we fixed.
Or behind the complex.
In the complex, yes. So there had been water leaks found and they were fixed. Yeah.
And there will continue, because I mean, that old water from years past I think that 30, if St. John's right, it says 1,000 or whatever. If you even said 2,500 per, that allows you, it does do that safely. And then, I mean, if there's more, we deal with it. But I think 30,000 is a fair budget.
but it's nice to know the numbers.
Yeah, well, I agree with that, but that could come, yeah.
That'll give
We get
administration some
the
time.
numbers quarterly.
So
Right.
we do, and you're right. So but when we go further down, when we do the recap of the status update, we do have some in reserve. We haven't used the allotted amount from last year. So we're just kind of rolling it forward. So.
Right.
It's gonna be an annual routine thing.
Yeah.
Because there'll always be ones failing. It's part of it.
So I hear that you'd like the information. I don't think there's anything red flagged right now. Otherwise, it would have been brought to council if there was a major leak. It will come in January. Does that,
Sure,
okay?
yeah, if you can come back with the numbers, I know what,
Yeah,
they're,
and
cause there still is a variance between when we do their numbers and also when they're purchasing the water and then when they're selling the water, there's a
Yeah.
spread on their.
Got it.
numbers.
Okay,
Yep.
does that sound okay for everybody or? So we don't need
What's in
any,
the past?
We try to read the same time when we do our meter reads as the county.
So it's being done almost,
It's scheduled for really close, so we
Okay.
can see, yeah, there was definitely a variance.
Yeah.
In the reading time and then
and at this time, December 3rd, administration doesn't have any red flags that we should be aware of. In terms of water loss or leaks.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. What does that sound? I know it's important.
it just brings the question because
Yeah, we got it, we
there
got
was
it,
issues in the past and
we got it.
Continue on.
Yeah.
John, was there anything else you'd like to flag for us?
Yes, I did add one item in this preliminary document from the last time it was brought forward. Just this item M. Power rake skid steer attachment. If you go to that page,
We're on page 7 of 27 M. And then we're going to what page, John? 11 on 14.
What item is that on this list?
So this is page 7 of M as in
M? Okay,
Mary
yeah,
Ann.
okay.
and then it's 11 of 14 in this
11.
passage. Yeah.
so that's just
11 on the top.
Just use this master like these.
So on the bottom, it's 16 of 27.
Power rate, that's for the vent track.
that's for the skid steer.
Skid steer.
So I believe you had mentioned in the last meeting about the possible attachments that could be used to address alleyways more effectively. Gravel alleyways. This attachment consists of basically a wheel drum with carbide steel teeth on it or stubs teeth that rotates and it rejuvenates gravel that has potholes. It kind of
Fairly shallow, like an inch deep, you'll be cutting.
yeah, it scrapes up the existing gravel and rejuvenates it
cool.
rather than just adding gravel. And
it's
it
almost
actually,
like a reclaimer, how they do
yeah,
ditches, because in the counties,
So
there's a
that,
lot of gravel in the ditches.
is that a bit of a bolt
Exactly.
behind then to kind of finish at?
I don't believe so, but it's intended to basically prepare the material to be graded, so you would grade it
Have you ever
afterwards.
seen one of these in action?
I have not personally. I could potentially try to get some kind of demo for it. But
Well, that'd be a neat one to demo also.
Well, sure, you can demo
You
it.
know, see what it does and try it out.
Demo it like for a week and a half and then get it back.
How's that? How's that?
Do all the trails and everything.
The heritage is showing.
So is that, do you think that you could get some necessary data from that if you were to demo it, John, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the timeline would be on that, and it would depend on the
Some-
available.
Or if we're gonna can go and see it in operation, you know, if some municipality has one in the area.
If we're doing that, we might as well try and get it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, if it's, if we get a demo, that's,
I have seen some videos of it in action. But I just wanted to flag that there may be an alternative function of this attachment as well. So that it could potentially be used on very hard packed ice that builds up to roughen the surface. Roughen the surface, you won't be able to remove all of the ice because we would not want to be scraping the asphalt as well. There is going to be some scratching of the asphalt, so even with a careful operator, but it could have a function to remove that very hard packed ice to make the roads more safe and
So is this if I may, is this a need to have or wish to have?
to address the back alleys.
So then there's a work plan that once we get this, we'll be able to.
Be able to rejuvenate the alleys and regrade, re-level them.
Okay. How does that sound to everyone?
Yeah, I like
Yep.
that.
And so is this would you say a current quote or?
Yeah, this is a current price.
So I think we can move forward, but I'd still like to put a contingency on it to have it first upon demo and then some feedback from council or some feedback from the equipment operators or public works and see if we'd be moving forward. So I don't know how to frame that in a motion, but if you could earmark that.
I can definitely attempt that. I won't be able to guarantee that this particular attachment will be available. Currently, I could use best efforts to make that happen.
And thank you, but we also want to be mindful of your time too. We don't want you to dedicate a large amount of time and get everyone's hopes up. So if it's something where it's supply chain or supply demand and we can't get it, and just come back to us. How's that? So we'll approve it for now. Am I reading the room? We'll approve it for now.
To make all kinds of neat stuff that gets.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Hundreds.
I'm so not in my
That's wonderful.
element here.
The salesmen will also have ideas for you too.
Yeah.
When they come out, they'll say, oh, we have, this town has this thing. And you got that piece of equipment, they work really good together. And I mean, use those guys' knowledge.
Yeah, and so currently it doesn't exist anywhere. So the county doesn't have it or no one in the region has something like this, but it would be something new
Not
to
that
us.
Not that I'm aware of, but I can reach out to nearby municipalities.
Thank you. I want to go back to page 7, if I may, if we take a question at this time, and it might be directed to yourself or to Molly. So we were on page 7 and it is letter H. So we identified the paving project. It's in the trailer park area, 45A Avenue. Councilor Rosachek and I were campaigning. We saw heard from some owners. There's some problems ongoing. That area is unique. It doesn't have any catch basins, and you did a wonderful job with email. Thank you. My only concern is, so it's targeted to do the whole street. Does the whole street need to be redone? To me, it's not the worst street in Smoky Lake, or can we just merely target the areas that need help?
That's up to, of course, council discretion, but just personally, in my opinion, that road is in very rough condition. Just my experience driving down it. There is a large amount of frost heaving and cracking going on there.
So, and thank you for that. I'll get to you in a sec. So we were given the binder for the capital plan, or sorry, the plan that was done MPE dated 2018. It was not one of the roads on the initial paving plan that was scheduled for any type of improvement or repair or resurfacing. So now I'm thinking, so we had the information done by MPE 2018. We paid for the study or the information. Is it maybe time to update the quote or develop a street plan? Where do we go from there to create a master plan so that we're not just doing one-ofs, or we're having a targeted approach? I think the money, in my opinion, is high for that amount of street. I'd rather look at patching or repairing the localized area and taking the additional funding to another area of town that might have a higher priority, but not knowing that decision so.
Just to note, this pricing does include sidewalk replacement in particular spots along this road. Sidewalk parts that are damaged would be part of that work as well.
Okay,
I got Dan and then I got you. Go ahead.
when we did study with MP, they were pretty, they went right through everything through the whole town. We asked all the questions. And we were very diligent in which way we wanted to spend the money and everything else in the scope of their presentation. And that area was still, it's a problem area because it wasn't built right. It wasn't designed right. There's a swale right in the middle, there's,
frost leaving, that's basically crack filling. It's allowing moisture through the summer to penetrate, and in the winter where it freezes, it heaves. So if we get on crack sealing early, prevent moisture from going down beneath the asphalt, it's not gonna solve it this year. It'll solve it over a period of time because that moisture will dissipate, will spread, and we won't have just a little heave, we'll have more of a floating pad.
So what you're saying is maybe prioritize that to be the start of the crack sealing.
Correct. And here for where the, if you look at the overhead picture, the dark areas against the curb, that is where the base settled. So the asphalt is down about 2, 3, 4 inches. What I would propose is get 1 or 2 truckloads of hot asphalt and fill those low spots. Water won't gather there. If the sidewalk has dropped a little bit, maybe we can pump it up a little bit. There's a possibility, you know. We were campaigning, so we weren't, scouting the word.
Yeah.
But to me, I didn't think that just looking at the length of the asphalt, I didn't think it was that bad a shape. Some spray patching or good crack sealing would preserve that for a long time. But if you have frost heaving, I'll just make sure that we're on the bit with crack sealing and early so as to allow the least amount of moisture underneath that asphalt.
Okay, and thank you for that. And anyone, not trying to provide operational direction, just for anyone that might not know, if I may, Nestor previously worked for Carillion. He has some firsthand knowledge, just sharing, okay? So I brought it forward. It impacts 2 or 3 homeowners there. I'm just suggesting that maybe that's a large amount of money for the whole street when you don't really have that master plan yet. If we could, I don't know, but I'm just one person, so I'd rather see if there is a contingency plan or.
The 5-year plan you're talking.
Well, I do prioritize that as one of the streets. There's only 2 ways into that area. One is by my house and the other is that street. So to make the best for everyone that impacts that road or that's driving on it and for our town guys that are grading and to improve it overall.
Why was the street brought up? If it wasn't on that, I haven't seen that plan that you referenced, the one with where there's worse streets than this one.
Oh,
What are the worst streets than this one?
do you remember the binder, the
Yeah,
white
the big-
binder
I
with the,
looked
it
through all
was a
that.
study? It was about 500 pages.
read it yet?
I didn't read that.
You didn't
so
memorize it?
I'm so sorry. But what are some of the roads there that were bigger, maybe you would know that were
Well,
bigger?
It's a master plan over from, I'm sorry to interrupt. There was a master plan from 218 or 220 to 227. And there's a map inside, so it was to do everything in sections.
So it's from 220 then, 2020?
For 2019.
Okay.
But if it seems like it hasn't been
That'd
done
be
unless I'm speaking out of turn, so
relative.
on that master plan, what were some of the areas that were really a concern? If we haven't done any of the master plan, then I'm all about saving on this and taking Nestor's advice, because it seems like you really know what you're talking about, Nestor. I'm just thinking out loud that if there are bigger areas, then we need to have some money to fix those areas. So if that master plan, had pointed out a few worse areas in Smoky Lake, then I agree with Nestor, we maybe just try to fix it.
So, and if I can just talk to that, and thank you for bringing that up. The problem now is the master plan that was created was 218.
Yeah.
Then 7 years ago, there's been other areas that have impacted. We almost need to go back to the drawing board and make a motion to pay money to get the plan updated. Or ask Public Works to walk every street in town, and so that would, there's no clear direction, we don't have a plan. We can't use an old plan previous council failed to maybe put paving as the priority, we're behind. And then for money and obvious reasons.
Actually, a lot of the
So my
days.
question,
You know what?
Can I
It would be a good idea.
I
but
got
just-
Dan next, and then I got Keegan, and then I got you, okay?
So I think it would be a good idea to revisit it, because there's gonna be higher traffic areas such as the car blocks and everything else that we're gonna have to start looking into, because it's gonna be. Things happen, higher traffic, heavier roads. And unfortunately. The town was built in a certain way and we just kept uncovering. And. We're making do what we have. So, it's just extra costs, so.
so then just sorry to get an answer to my original question. What was the reason that your office or you decided that this road was a priority? Was it just complaints from the town members? You walking through the town and canvassing?
Combination of assessments from our staff as well as reported complaints from residents.
It is a hazard for it impacts 2 or 3 residents. And then when it freezes, it is, there's some obstacles and barriers to that. Go
What I
ahead.
would suggest is, okay, if we're gonna budget $170,000, we should budget that and look at it in April and May of next year. I'll volunteer to walk with you or have, you know, a group of us have a good look throughout the streets and kind of prioritize A, B, C, whichever is, you know, red flag. And we've got, if that one really needs it, well, let's address it. If not, maybe we can move it to some other project,
Oh, yeah,
You know,
it'd be
like
170
asphalt.
grand to spend somewhere on some streets.
That's
for
right.
sure, yeah.
you know? So,
And the big factor is getting the right contractor that you trust to come in and do the plan.
but like what I just proposed of patching, I'm sure we can do it in-house. We've got a Bobcat. All we need is a roller.
So go ahead.
Some of these conversations sounded probably a bit more easier said than done. I would recommend, it sounds like a lot of these projects require some evaluation and priority. And requires some expertise, and not to say that our in-house staff don't have that, but I think this is more of an engineered discussion if we want to really look at our current statement of infrastructure. I would support, as the mayor mentioned, looking at an updated assessment as to what we had done in 2018, and I think that would help us solve a lot of our maybe not solve our problems, but it would give us some more information to make well-informed decisions.
Yeah.
And a lot of these capital projects don't need to be approved this month. I think we can factor in the money into the operational side of things to do a very comprehensive review and evaluation of everything, and then bring that back, and then we can have the rest of those capital conversations further into the spring and that's probably when that assessment should be done anyways, of course, when there's no snow on the ground. And yeah, it can involve administration, as well, to be on the ground with them, but we also have to be mindful of where we allocate our resources to do a bit of patchwork when it comes to doing a proper assessment of our infrastructure.
Yeah, so I've got Dan, I've got Nestor, and then I'm gonna follow up on this
In
too.
due respect, we had our own packers and everything. Do a lot of work at one time.
Yeah, so
And I think that's in the past. Stuff has been sold, things are not available, but if we just get some different quotes to see what things come in at, and I'm pretty sure things are gonna be very favorable for the town.
assessment and doing the work, are two different things. I'm just speaking to the assessment part of it.
So what it costed us 2018, 2020, whatever it was, on that, I would double check to see what the engineering firm would come in and start looking at the numbers, if he can adopt their previous, paperwork and review it and then move forward with it.
I'm actually meeting MPE on Friday, but I don't think it's a pick back up from where we left off. I wish that was how it worked, but we'll come back with an actual quote on an assessment.
Give me one sec, I got it.
Well,
No, go ahead.
things haven't changed, so why would it be?
Okay, so here's the thing, the people have changed and so, and everything's gone up in price, but I've got Nestor and then I think the motion should be to update, or get a quote. Get a motion, the motion should be, get a cost of how much it would need to update the plan. And then we'll decide from there.
Get a clock.
Okay, so Nestor, you're
I
up
will pass because that was my statement. What would it cost for,
before we start doing anything.
no,
Get a quote.
that's smart. This
That's a
way,
great idea.
you know, independent, hopefully.
And so I just, if I may, I want to tie back this conversation. I pulled this from the meeting tomorrow. So we're talking about the road in the trailer park. We also were on tour yesterday. We didn't see it, but we have the new developments in Maria Close and some we don't even have roads there. So we have 2 tire paths in the section where all the trailers were sold, but not yet developed. So again, I'm not sure, that could be a Pam question for later. Is there even a back alley? Is there supposed to be an encroachment or some sort of easement? But these are future developments. So if you're doing an action plan or a master plan, are we completing what we're offering our community members in Maria Close? Do we have all our roads? Are we supposed to be having back alleys? And John, you don't have to answer right away because it's something we can talk about it. The task at hand is just to look at the 170. I think we're lining up to not be in agreement for that, but to earmark some funding and we may have a subsequent motion to come out of this to update our capital plan. How does that sound? Okay, so may I make the motion now just to get a quote? So I move that the Town of Smoky Lake Direct Administration to contact the MPE engineering firm to get a quote of what it would cost to have an updated capital plan similar to 2018 to identify the areas of concern for council to be brought back to a future meeting of council.
Wait a minute, just because we need to be careful with our procurement policy, just to ensure that I wouldn't limit it to MPE, of course. Like I said, I'm meeting them Friday. I can already start these conversations in terms of kind of updating this plan, but what I would just say is to come back with quotes, meaning more than one and from more than one engineer firm.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we are
Bound to that.
implying that we will utilize them and
Oh,
it's gonna be over our 5,000 threshold, so.
Okay, and so where I was going with this, my intention, thank you for that. My intention was because at our organizational meeting, we named our engineering company. And so I thought we had that affiliation. But if you're telling us, I would accept the friendly amendment to come back with 3 quotes to a future meeting of council. But that kind of caliber of that document. Go ahead, Nestor.
Would there be a grant available for that engineering?
So I've been looking into grants just on asset management in general. I haven't successfully come across any. I think there's gonna be a lot more available because the MGA, I've been hearing that the MGA is gonna shift so that asset management becomes a requirement, meaning there should be more funding for municipalities. At this point, it seems quite limited. I can certainly take a look, but I'm unaware of any because I've already kind of been looking. I will definitely pursue some more of that if I can, but
Just a comment. Wouldn't it be really nice if government of Alberta had a site where you can access most all grants available? Wouldn't that make your life so much easier?
yeah.
Rather than, you know, like use that,
Pretty
like,
easy.
you know, if you're on these things, you hunt and punch. Well, that's stupid. If you can go to one site and have most all the grants listed, so that you can sort of, that would be.
I've gotta say,
easy.
Alberta municipalities is working on that, like creating a one-stop shop for municipalities. So they're aware of the issues.
Well, if you got any clout, take them, or, no, not take them, like.
Take them all back, I got it.
Address our concerns.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you for that. So we do have a motion on the floor, and I accept the friendly amendment, and Carly is very good at capturing everything. She's channeling my inner brain. And so would there be any more discussion with council or admin to add to that motion or to clarify? At this time, seeing none, hearing none, all in favor? The motion is carried. Thank you.
And just to provide clarity, we didn't actually, we strayed away from appointing an engineer firm, just so we had the flexibility to do this. That was a recommendation that I brought forward. It's just to leave that, then we are always in alignment with our procurement policy, project based. No, it doesn't lock us into using a specific engineering firm. We appointed all of our other ones, but not that one,
Oh.
not this year.
I was at a different.
You were probably just looking at the background motions from previous years. Which
Sorry,
they were,
I'm
our
sorry.
engineer,
No,
they
that
were.
really, it makes sense not to choose one because sometimes competition is healthy.
Yeah.
So give me 1 sec, and then just, you're right. So to recap this conversation, John, thank you for everything that you brought forward thus far. And it does give us some recap information that everyone's going home, racing home to look at that binder and looking at the existing plan for debate. Correct? Yeah. Tegan agrees, go ahead.
So moving beyond age. I noticed that you put in, this is just a question I had when I was looking at this. And for example, was that power rake skid steer attachment. We've been talking a lot about not replacing the $250,000 big grader, but instead getting a blade for a smaller machine. I don't see that blade in here. Does that come in the operational budget, or is that something that should be added to this preliminary capital
In your
budget?
picture, there,
It's,
Did I miss it?
that one for the skid
That
steer.
one is for, okay, so that
That was
but
for
that
skid steer.
blade is for the,
That's what John was talking
Back
about,
alley.
the roller.
that's
well,
right,
I'm talking about like clearing that back alley, like behind the.
just a graded.
Do you know what we took, you know how yesterday we talked about how we have to prioritize that back alley by the old age home?
Yeah.
And so John was saying that they can't fit that big grader down
Oh,
there.
That one will fit. Yeah, he's talking about like the little back alleys here, like behind here,
Oh.
behind Paragraph, those kind. That alley's fine.
Downtown.
Okay.
And
that makes
also
sense.
the, what do you call it, from 44th Avenue, east and west, or north and south.
Oh, so that
Oh,
big
those
grader
back
can get back
alleys.
there. Okay,
No,
okay,
blade.
thank you for clarifying.
Sorry.
Um. That's fine.
And
I was just gonna make a note that this power rig attachment would be very complementary to doing back alleys. It doesn't itself have a blade, but it loosens the material, it removes potholes effectively. The material would still have to be leveled afterwards, so we do have a planer attachment for our tractor that we can use.
Oh, see, that's what I was gonna ask, if you still had that, blade that goes on the 3-point hitch.
Yeah, it's a planer that can use to re-level the material afterwards.
John, also, there's a couple simple units, like a few guys around here have box scrapers, and when we get to that point, we can ask them. Say, you know, can you bring your box scraper with your tractor? And it's just local guys, and so, yeah, come take a look at it, and see what a finish looks like, and you'll be surprised what a nice job those things do. Too, and simple, easy to operate.
Oh, yeah.
Set her down, go.
And you can
You
even,
just pay them?
you can even,
How does that work?
Those are like $5,000.
you can even.
And we got a little tractor that can pull it.
No, no, those things are great, like,
Yeah.
simple.
I see guys actually maintain county roads with them. Some of the guys will maintain the county roads with them. And they'll be able to do the potholes. They're actually pretty good.
Just for clarity, I'm not too familiar with that. What equipment does that pair with?
Oh, what's your tractor?
It's John Deere.
Like how many horse?
50 horse.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
It would be big enough at a slow speed to have enough power.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Cause they're like
6
8
feet,
feet or
6 or 8, yeah,
Yeah.
that's where you go.
Yeah.
No, not that simple, just got a
Yeah.
couple of shanks for ripping and a mold board behind it. Or actually, no, it's got a few angled,
We'll get one in the summer. We'll get a guy to bring you.
Go one way or the other.
And you guys can
work.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. In conjunction with this power rig.
Oh, yeah, you might even take a look, see what it does right off the bat. You might, yeah. Lots of options.
So, okay, any direction that, or any motions coming out of that part?
No, it's just for future consideration in spring.
Speaking of future consideration, at a capital meeting, I'm just wondering if we have any opportunity to our parks. So looking at Pumpkin Park, the pumpkins are going to, I'm not saying immediately, they're going to need some paint, repaint. They're starting to chip and they might need some help. And then I'd like to position something maybe earmarked for early 2026 that we could talk about for 2027 to do some hardscaping or landscaping at the four-way stop in terms of maybe a sculpture or something, just to dress it up a bit. It's not, I love that idea. It doesn't look very good. And so we do have the various parks that we identify with, the Pumpkin Park in Devonian and Stark Park, but these are just town-owned assets that need care. Go ahead, Nestor.
Idea for the four-way stop.
Okay.
A Ukrainian theme of some sort. We are an old Ukrainian community. Shouldn't that be, displayed for years to come?
We're gonna have to arm wrestle, because what I see is a sculpture of a huge life, larger than life sculpture of just a pumpkin with just the veins that you could see through, so your visibility and that children can climb on, and you could call it Ukrainian if you want, but pumpkin capital of Alberta.
We know
You can have a little,
pumpkin
like a
park
little
is,
scarf tied around it that has the Ukrainian,
that.
not a real scarf, but like a sculptured scarf that has the Ukrainian little accent to it. I like that.
Our pumpkin park is beautiful. It is beautiful. They wanted to put it at the complex.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of use one of Dan's terms, I'll kind of blow up my chest a little bit. We didn't want the liability of kids climbing on pumpkins, so
Well,
we
and
suggested that, and that's awesome. It's the
and
finest place in town. It's a focal point.
everybody that, and thank you for that, everybody that takes the picture is climbing on it, so now we need to look at painting it. It is a town-owned asset, so the pumpkin growers gifted it to the town. And so we do the flowers and the weeding and everything, so it's going to require some money. And I don't think it's operational, I think it's capital, or am I wrong?
No, I'm happy to hear these conversations. It's something that I've been kind of plugging away in the background. I think Pumpkin Park could use a little bit of rejuvenation. Like there's ways that we can stack some existing grants that I know are already kind of in the works. And the EdRAD grant would be a perfect, that would be an opportunity to utilize some money through that fund for Pumpkin Park or elsewhere. But what I was told in talking to some of these people that were behind the regional economic development framework is that we'd have a lot of success if we are successful through ACP to have that framework set up, because coming out of there is when then we can now leverage the other grants that are more matching grants, but we'd have more of the framework in place that would support how we can get funds, because it isn't as easy. I did try already for this year to get some of that fund for that, but we need to demonstrate that we have a plan when we apply for all of these grants, right? And so I think we're doing this in the right order. So I just wanted to say, I think there's a lot of great grants that we will have more power towards getting after the ACP one is put in place. So it might be more of a next year conversation. So
As long as you're making a list, so they can have, yeah.
about 1,000 lists.
That's what it came back to at the conference, shovel-ready projects.
Yep.
Everybody's supposed to have a list sitting somewhere in a file that if anything comes across, here's the file. Then stamp the date on it and send it in.
Lists and plans. They want
Yeah.
design plans, they want concepts, right?
Could we put aside some money, like Mary Ann says just now, just to give it a quick little lipstick makeover and then use those grants in the future if we get them?
I've already kind of reached out for some quotes on repainting those pumpkins. It's probably not as little as we think it's gonna be.
Is it?
I think 10K.
At least, yeah. The people that were here for the Flourish Festival actually were talking about what it would cost them to do that, and that's the estimate they gave me. And that's low end, so.
If it's 10K and it lasts 10 years, that's $1,000 a year. That's
But
I
here,
would say it's pretty decent.
So,
Yeah.
okay, and thank you for that, yes, but it doesn't last 10 years because it was recently painted and part of it is when people are climbing, it's not just paint, now it's structural, so there's chips of cement. And so, it was never intended to be a climbing wall, it was meant to be a visual park. So unless we look at maybe not having people fencing it off or something to that effect. I know, but here's where we're at. We're gonna keep paying every year or every 10 years or 5 years, whatever it is, so.
But you know, it's a focal point and.
Yeah, I agree,
It's,
agree.
I'm very impressed with the amount of people that you see through the
Yeah.
summer. You know, stuff, young kids and families and that, it's a focal point. It's great. It brings people to town. What more, like, you have to have another 5 of those things.
And so my intention for bringing it forward is I know the budget's done and we're looking at ways of juggling some money and good conversation, make some lists. We look at our admin, sleep's overrated. So yeah, I'm sure you all have the lists, but if you could just keep it in your top of mind, if we have opportunity for hardscaping or landscaping and to build a plan. How does that sound? And go ahead.
So, yeah, up since 3 o'clock in the morning, so that's another factor.
You look awesome.
Number L.
Sorry, L.
Yeah, so what do you want to replace them? You never mentioned that yesterday.
So
Similar zero turn mowers.
Particular brand name or whatever, do you feel favorable going back to John Deere or?
In my personal experience, I've had good experience with Kubota branded equipment. This pricing that I have here is for that brand.
Kubota, so they would be, they're 28 grand a piece.
Approximately.
And are these ones running right now?
The grasshoppers are running now.
Okay, cause like lots of times, especially like in Montreal, you see again municipal equipment coming in. And I'm okay with it, but those grasshoppers might have a pretty good value when you go to sell them. Because they're a pretty good machine and guys look for them. And if they come from a municipality, guys know they have hours, but they've been maintained. So if we're talking 28 grand each, there's a possibility we get 8 back in our jeans per lawnmower.
I think that's definitely a strong possibility. I don't know for sure about that, but
I'll look back in some history.
Are we
We have
looking to
one-
sell it?
Huh?
Are we looking to sell the other ones that they have? Like,
Well, yeah, you'll sell them, sure, because you'll replace them.
Oh, so they don't wanna keep them and have
No,
multiple.
because we'll run out of shop space and they do have a value. Those still have a value.
Okay.
Go ahead, Nestor.
Now, I noticed that there were 2 other lawnmowers there. What's the status on those?
The John Deere's and the cabs.
The 2 John Deere's.
the one is not. The one is out of service. I have looked at it. I was unable to determine exactly what the problem was, but the other one is in operation and it has been a reliable unit.
Like there's 2 of them there. We've got 4 in total. So, okay, if we're gonna upgrade these grasshoppers, let's say, like, but we have 2 others, like, what's the status on this? Like, is there value there? Are they still operable or what are we doing? We shouldn't be storing them.
He
We should
said
be using
the one
them
is-
for
is out.
delivery.
The one is out of service.
Out of service?
But I think what we should do is get Jordan to look at
Yeah, see what's
it
up.
and see what's up, because if it's running,
Yeah.
either, yeah.
So hang on.
Okay.
Do we know, have we done, hi Ashley, I got you, just give me 1 sec. Do we know if, do we have any quotes on what the repairs would cost? Or we're just leaving it?
Well, Jordan would tell you.
Okay,
Yeah,
so go ahead, Ashley.
The John Deere in the South Shop you guys seen.
Yeah.
Is a gas motor. And whatever. The hydraulic system completely crapped out. So it was parked there and they robbed a whole bunch of parts off of it, the other 2 at the time. And it was 2 years ago, they sold. One of the other John Deere's, so there's only one that's running. The other one is completely missing all kinds of parts, the windows, half the cab is gone.
So the
so
one
it's been
that's
stripped.
tucked away in the blue shop
Yeah,
that has the header off of it, that's the one you strip The
Yes,
parts truck.
that's just the parts one. I think the motor ran when they parked it. It hasn't run since I've been here.
That's the gas job.
And that was the gas
And
motor.
the other one's a diesel,
And the other one's,
so you're not gonna steal parts off that anyway.
there was a bunch of parts that were compatible.
Yeah,
And
but
a lot
not
of
the
them were
engines.
taken already.
But there's two decks there. Are they still serviceable, like mower decks?
The one deck has been parked under the.
Yeah.
Since I've been here, we've never used it, and the other deck we use.
Yeah, there's one underneath the shelving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you do have one machine, okay, if we should sell and upgrade these grasshoppers, there is one backup unit, or it can be used as a third one, as a third unit if necessary, you know, we get behind, what have you?
You can use the green one in the summer for a
Okay.
lawnmower,
Okay.
and in winter it's a sweeper.
Right.
Yeah, and
Okay,
the Ventrac for the big areas, the grasshoppers, we've a lot of electrical problems lately. For the
No.
last 2 years, about 5 or 7 hours on them, that's all they've been in the shop.
okay, we know the age of them, what are the hours on these grasshoppers and that one John Deere?
Plus or minus 2,500,
No, not quite.
but in that 2,000-ish.
I don't even think they have that.
Really? Oh, so if they're running, they have a good value.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, like, that's why we kind of.
You're talking to John Deere or the grasshopper,
Grasshoppers.
2,500 hours,
I don't
2,000.
Yeah,
Maybe not even.
shoot, that's not high hours at all.
no, they don't, but the electrical's starting to fail on them.
Okay, but has that electrical been looked at and
Yeah.
fixed?
We've had them in the shop 4 times in the last 2 years. They haven't run much at all.
And this is back to like Lawnmower Hospital, you said?
We've taken them to Lawnmower Hospital and to Grasshopper in Wetaskiwin.
Okay.
Go ahead, John.
Just wanna note that,
We're having electrical problems with them.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just wanna note that they were away for repairs for. I would say almost probably a couple months this year during the season, so it was challenging to use the 2 available units that we had that were working.
Okay.
Especially when there's a lot of rainfall, the grass grows quite rapidly and.
Yeah.
Can be difficult to keep up with that.
Well, if they're running now, that's the best time to sell them if we're having problems. Rather than, because if they're dead over there, they're worth nothing.
And they're diesels too, Kubota
Yeah.
diesel, wow.
So, and thank you. Sorry, am I cutting you off or?
No, like,
Okay,
okay, if we're gonna get rid of, yeah, like, it's, you're right. like,
so the ask,
diesel,
yeah, the ask is, are we replacing 2 or what is the direction the council wants to go?
I would just prefer to replace both. It's easier to keep 2 the same than have
Yeah,
2 different. Keep 2 the same. Let's have them ready. So at a sale here, first of all, we'll see availability and price on the Kubotas. And then in spring, we'll make sure they're tuned up, ready to go, and we'll sell them running condition,
yeah, and
the old ones.
for parts.
Does that make
and
sense?
It's good to have.
Do we need to make a motion for that?
So we have a process that we follow, for, town-owned, disposal. Yeah. So are we in agreement that those 2 will be sold and they will be replaced?
Yeah.
Is that the request? That's okay with the admin? That's the request in front of us? We're going around the room. Counselor Kodlak? In agreement?
I never wanted to buy those things.
Okay, and that's more reason to sell them.
That was 28,000.
I wanted to buy John Deere ones.
There's Barb?
Kubotas are good.
I agree.
This 28,000, is it their current price?
I believe green.
That was the current price as of October or
Okay, so
November, fairly recent.
John, you could ask, who are you getting like 3 quotes?
We would if we
Yeah,
proceeded with.
because what's their names? Extreme, whatever they're at Westlock, they sell Kubotas, right? But you could ask them for a trade-in value of those grasshoppers. You don't have to give them, just tell them their running condition and see what they give. And
personally, I'm just some of these.
whatever, try and see what they give you for a trade-in.
And try, Kubota, try green, try everybody.
I so thought they were gonna,
From 3 different.
I thought they were gonna say,
If it's
please,
possible. I know you're-
get a demo.
No demo, we know. Kubotas are industrial.
I mean, they cut grass, so I mean.
Oh, yeah.
it's-
Are we quite clear how to proceed and we wanna follow our processes as well?
And they'll be
Okay.
diesels.
Definitely for diesel.
And that's confirmed, it will be a diesel, just.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't need to demo them? We're
No,
moving-
don't need to demo those.
Okay, anyone can call a recess,
I'm good.
anyone can call a recess, I think we're.
Are we
just
voting
about-
on that?
I think we're just about wrapping this up,
Oh,
this
okay,
section,
yeah.
or is there any more or inquiries or discussion? Go ahead, John.
And just for clarity, it seems that council would like to remove the following items from this preliminary document. I just want to get clarity on that. So you would like to remove item K, motor grader replacement. And
So looking for consensus around the room,
Yes.
we're removing K.
can I get is there a consensus to remove item H, 45A Avenue?
Paving and, yeah.
I think we should just recalculate that
Yeah.
after we get a quote.
But once we discuss that, once we figure out our problem spots and figure out where we start first.
But aren't we just putting that 170 in the budget, and if we have to, we have to, if not, we can reassign it to other paving or patching or repair? Even though we're gonna get this study done.
Well, we're getting quotes, so go ahead, John, how do you want to speak to that?
If you'd like, we could reclassify item H to have more of a broad application, not specifically tying it to this project. And then possibly at a later date, the decision.
What's the best idea then?
Looks like CAO Crichton is gonna tell us the best idea.
Yeah, so obviously what we're hearing from administration standpoint is that council doesn't want to approve the capital budget package as presented, like meaning items A to N. What I would recommend then is, and since a lot of the capital decisions are still requiring some further information in the new year, it's looking like we will have to approve an interim capital budget. And so what we would do is just I would recommend making individual motions on the items that want to be approved for 2026. Simply leave out the items that require more conversation. And then later in the year, I would say January, February, we can enter these conversations again to look at the remaining items to complete the full capital budget approval.
That sounds like
That
a
sounds
really good idea. We'd like to discuss letter N, but I think Councillor Rosachek is gonna call a 5-minute recess at 6:29. Okay.
John, just off the record. If you're
Good evening and welcome everyone back. I'd like to call the meeting back to order at 6:38 p.m. And we were going to be concluding our discussion on page 7. Councillor Kulak would like to bring forward on our behalf, letter N, the service truck replacement of $50,000.
So you gave an itemized list of, it needs a door handle, needs a water pump and all that. That's just operational. When things get into certain kilometers, but about 120,000 kilometers. So how many kilometers do you think you make with that a year? And I'm not saying you're driving to Miami with it once a year, or it's for public works, for the guys to be picking up garbage and everything else. Throw a set of flares over the rust on the thing and keep using it. Like that's what we did in the past too, and just did a little cleanup, and then once it got to a point of disrepair, you got rid of it. And we actually still made a couple dollars on when we did our bidding on it. So it's just for a replacement on that, I believe that's more of a want than a need. So
If I can ask the question to what you're saying is it because, so I'm on page 17 of 27, is it because it's flagged as a 211, so it might need to be inspected, or it's not roadworthy, or can you tell me more about that to add to what Dan had said?
I wouldn't say that it's a safety hazard or anything like that. If council wishes for us to keep the equipment longer, we definitely can do that.
What's trade-in value?
Trade-in value will be fairly low for that truck, I believe.
Yeah,
$5K.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, on there.
Like that thing, because that's, how many trucks you guys run?
Well, there's the 4 of us on staff. So the 4 main service trucks, and then we have a truck for watering flowers, like a water tank truck.
So is this one of the employees'
Yeah.
trucks?
Yes, it is.
So like,
And we also have 1 spare truck that is only 2-wheel drive that is used by the summer students. Or summer workers, I mean.
so the furthest place that thing can break down is at the lagoons.
Yeah, yes, if we're not driving it to a training course or something.
You wouldn't take that to a training course, you'd take one of the nicer ones.
Yeah, that could be right.
I make a motion, we don't take that truck to a training course. It does not go past the municipality boundaries.
No, I mean,
Cross county line.
Unless you wanna drive it past the legislature and maybe one of the ministers will feel so bad that he'll give us a few more $100,000 for our budget.
Go ahead,
and if
Nancy.
you'd like to hide the rust, get a cheap set of fender skirts.
Yeah.
Do body shops in town, get a quote.
Yep. And that'll hide the rust, it'll make it look like $1 million again, well, 100,000.
Just a note to furthest we drive in normal, just day-to-day operations is we have our rural gas customers. Out by Mons Lake is the furthest point.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our
Yeah, fine.
I mean, Dan could go salvage it, if it breaks down there.
You know, in the summer, if step students have to get a ding on it, smile and laugh.
So going around the room, looking for consensus, anything more to add on the gentleman?
So if you needed something budget or whatever, X amount of dollars, for cleanup, whatever, $3,000, and everything will be good for the next half a dozen years.
But when you like.
But you're water pumping and fix the handles and.
Is the water pump done right now?
You need
Leak it, or is it fixed?
it's
repaired.
it's
Oh,
repaired.
it's repaired, so, yeah, so it's just really the rust cosmetic.
I was just providing some information about the recent work that has been done.
And then,
Okay.
Cause there's no value in the truck the way it is.
No.
Actually, that mileage is actually the value in the truck. So,
Yeah.
and where did you see it was, where did you see the mileage? I'm on page 17.
It's
maybe he said 120,000 kilometers.
Sorry, thank you. Tegan, would you like to add anything to this conversation?
I just wondered if 3 is enough, like if we should say 5,000 to fix the handle, do whatever, just so that there's a little bit of wiggle room for the administration to get it fixed.
Careful, one of those guys that are bidding on it is sitting in the room. You're gonna put 1,000.
I
bucks.
can't,
We didn't declare, so we can't bid.
yeah,
Last period.
it's right,
Okay,
not to worry about, but you know how it works, is you can make money or if you're losing money, isn't that how weird it works?
la, 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 la. Okay, moving on. So now my last question on this one, letter N. If we hang on to it, does that speak to our asset management plan that it should come back in some sort of rotation, that we make a decision in 2027 and the mileage could increase by then, or?
We'll look at it again.
That sounds
Would that be
And
fair?
if it starts becoming.
I like
a problem,
that.
She goes.
So is that okay with administration, or do we need to make a motion so that it comes back?
I think you can leave that at administration's discretion just to bring back these items that will be impacted by the assessment that's
Yeah.
completed. So just make the motions that are directly relevant to the 2026 capital budget, and that's fine.
And so a trigger for me when we were talking, the discussion, maybe from an earlier meeting, I'm not sure, but probably not the best place to bring it up at a capital budget, but we do not have a vehicle policy. So that might come up again tomorrow at operations. And I think it's something in the future we should look at having a town of Smoky Lake town-owned vehicle policy for,
Vehicle usage,
We used to have
vehicle
one.
usage.
vehicle usage.
Yeah.
We have one?
No, we don't have a usage policy.
We used to have one.
I have it flagged as a policy item for 2026, but
Everything disappeared. Somebody shredded everything.
I don't know, I can't speak to that.
Okay, so go ahead.
Do we have to have a policy?
Should.
It should, because they're assets, right? And we are policymakers and that's what we're here to do is provide governance.
I mean, you don't need a policy until you do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people watching.
I realize that.
So-
Just explain all our reasoning for keeping it.
Yeah, no, but I was saying for moving forward for usage, so.
No, for
we have,
like when they
we
take
have
them home or whatever,
on-call.
set the parameters.
We have
Yeah.
on-call usage, we have, so that should come back because having nothing is, not a good thing.
No, I see your reasoning there.
Okay. So, is it fair to administration that a motion would come forward at this time to bring back in the future a, town-owned vehicle policy?
Or find the old one.
Do we need a motion in place to allot $5,000 towards fixing this vehicle?
We're gonna come back to all of that, because we're gonna amend the amount and administration's gonna bring it back.
And then we're getting borderline at that threshold, we're getting borderline more or less an operational repair. So that could just be a better alternative, is just to not include that as part of the package, and then we'll flag that for our operational discussion tomorrow, that we could bring 5,000 for repairs.
Okay.
That'd be more my recommendation, just to keep those split. This is no longer a capital item, if that's what we're talking.
Everyone's just staying in their lane. Okay,
Thank
did you have something to add? Go ahead.
When units are repaired, be it whatever unit is,
A number, assignment number to it.
that's right, are all repairs assigned to that unit, so we can bring it up and saying, okay, that's costing us money. This one is excellent, it is awesome. We compare,
In the general ledger, software that we use, it's all tied to the unit number. Each equipment is assigned a unit number, and expenses and fuel are charged specifically to that equipment.
Thank you for that. So, and at this time, I'd like to ask the administration, do you foresee anything that we've budgeted for in 2026? Because we've taken some things off and readjusted. Is there anything that we can pull from 2027 and kind of prepay or redo ahead of time to be in the allotted amount with our grant funding or our other revenues that you'd mentioned software that was coming due for water, reading the water meters and everything?
Yes, in 2027, we should be replacing our meter reading collection system. It's going to be obsolete in 2028. It will no longer be supported, so that's just the equipment and the software used. It still utilizes the existing meters and transmitters.
For anyone that's in the agenda package on page 18 of 27 that John is referencing. And I don't want to put you on the spot to answer the question right now, but if we're having the information coming back and we've allotted X amount of dollars to the capital budget for 2026, and that we're coming under the allotment, that's probably not a good accounting term, but if we still have funding remaining in our grants, and you want to push something else forward that would help or benefit council at this time, I would like to hear back, or we would like to hear back from you on that, if there's a recommendation on your behalf.
Yes,
I hope I haven't overstepped, if that's okay with administration or.
I could provide that. I can go back and do some additional looking at our plan and our items, and with discussion with the finance department, we could bring back additional items if that's what's
everyone's in a very good mood. They're happy to spend the money, so get them while you can. It's just a future consideration. So I'll leave that with you and I think we will leave that with you. Any more questions from council? Any other offerings from administration to further the discussion? Ready to make the motion with the amendments on 3.2. And thank you for the presentation. Very well done. Sure.
I'll make the motion, you put the words in.
Okay, so I'm on page 5 and I'm gonna go, thank you for preparing the recommendation. I think we'll just stay with that one. The town of Smoky Lake, by Councillor Rosachek, the town of Smoky Lake, except for information, the preliminary 2026 capital budget presented and administration to bring back the 2026 capital budget with advised revisions to the next budget meetings tomorrow, but
To the next regular council meeting, I think the intent would be for us to get all of our budget approval motions for December 16th.
so to bring it back to the next regular council meeting on December 16th, 2025. Any more discussion on the motion? Seeing none, hearing none, calling the question, all in favor, the motion is carried. Thank you again. Moving on to number 4, new business, 4.1, 2025 capital budget status and financial report. And so we have some lists compiled for us on page 20, some status updates and
Yeah, so just, I will turn it over to John again, but I just wanted to advise council that I thought it'd be great. I know this wasn't a specific request from council. I just thought it would be great for council to have an update on where we sit in our current capital year. Since we are asking for more money to go into the future. But we're kind of doing our due diligence by just demonstrating where we currently sit. Recognizing we do have about a month ahead of us. However, I think it's safe to say that the information that John has updated is pretty close to where we're gonna be at year end, so. Go ahead, John, you can just highlight, I mean, I don't know if we need to get into detail, but if council has specific questions on any particular capital projects.
And there, oh, sorry.
and not to cut you off, the one question, and it was very similar to a previous meeting where we were asking about the legend or the color coding. So what we see in red is not complete, or is it? So I'm on page 23. There's a couple items in red with sidewalk and what does the red mean?
Yeah, so I thought, actually Crystal can speak to more of those. It's just saying that something is off track from previously planned is what I would say. When I had asked the similar questions, more about there was a change in I'll say jurisdiction between where that lays with the county versus the town on the sidewalk project, correct?
The library.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so everyone knows where I'm at and I'm asking the question, it's in red. Go ahead.
So the library sidewalk project, I don't know, John, do you have an update on that?
I'm not too familiar with the where as it was previously approved, but it was determined later on that replacing a particular sidewalk there would not be an effective solution because roots had pushed up the sidewalk towards the building, which was causing some
Where's that?
water issues along the side of the library.
Oh, up there.
And so it was determined later on that the sidewalk could be removed, which has been done. And we created a landscaping and a swale to run that water back. Because if we did replace the sidewalk, it would only be a matter of time until the same thing happened again.
If I may, to speak to that, it's right adjacent on the south side. So it's attached, it's right on the building and the basement previously had some flooding. The basement is a revenue source for the library. They rent out the storage units. the basement flooded, they did some repairs, and it was noted by previous council that this could be taken out and replaced. And so the work has begun, the old sidewalk is removed. The tricky part is maybe it's a shared building, or sorry, the county owns the building, the town owns the land. So there's a partnership that, I'm probably saying the wrong thing, sorry.
I just want to add that according to the lease, the lessor, and I think I'm saying that right, which would be the town, is responsible for all the maintenance and repairs to the property, the premises. So we lease it from them. It is county property, but the lease agreement states that the town is responsible for all repairs and operations of the building. The lease, it was in the amount of $1. So it's more of a symbolic lease, but the town is operating it and responsible for the building and the premises, the property.
But that library does not only serve the town, does it?
No.
The region, yeah. And so it's tricky because there was 2 library sidewalk projects, one that was down on the street near the 3-way stop, and then the other one that was adjacent to the building. So this one is the one that we see in red at the top of page 23 is in regards to the one attached to the building, or
The $8,000 one.
Yeah, so because we did the work in kind and in-house, this $8,000 shouldn't be allotted like in our grants, so that's probably deemed complete. And it is county land and a county bill.
okay, sorry,
Yeah.
and I did say that wrong. I take that back, thank
And
you.
then the other one in red is the sidewalk repair in front of the provincial building. So they had requested the town to repair, if it was. I believe it was due to the salt that they were using that really pitted up the cement. So council made a motion that we would pay half and provincial building would pay half, but they said no. It's a town asset, so the town should pay for it, so I don't know where that's sitting right now.
Yeah.
So that's why it's red.
That's why it's red, because it was,
Incomplete.
we don't know how to proceed yet.
Just to add, this budget amount was for only 50% of the,
Oh, 32
Cost.
5 is only 50.
just for the half of the cost to repair.
I did look into that a bit further from a legislative standpoint. The town is responsible to do the repairs. We wouldn't look at a local improvement plan for that either, because it's deemed essential routine maintenance. So I went there, I met with the staff there. I personally have concerns with the state of the sidewalk. I think we could potentially be in trouble if we have an injury due to that. It is very, I will say, unsafe. And I do think it should be a priority and something that we should look at including in
Looked at that.
capital budget. It's
Like, is it in front, like the main
Right.
entrance?
right in front. So you'll notice there's a chunk of sidewalk. I don't know, I would say it's like for sure 10 feet long. And then you'll notice there's the piece of cement going into the provincial building, or it's untouched, it's pristine. They've since utilized a different kind of salt on that portion, and so that's why it's in good condition. So we did have some conversations about what kind of salt and et cetera to use going forward, and they have been doing that. It's not covered in our bylaw either, so we're kind of a standpoint with that. I think we should allocate some funding to completely fix that
Yeah.
problem. And also, I did have concerns with the fact that there is handicap parking, but it's very unsafe and essentially inaccessible through a wheelchair to get onto the actual sidewalk there as well. So it's just a bit beyond the sidewalk that we should look at repairing kind of the ramp onto that platform. So
If it's wheelchair accessibility, then there should be a grant for it, right?
they would probably argue that that is for the street portion. Yeah, and so the town sidewalk is the even bigger concern, so there's, I
If,
don't know.
just, if we're doing that kind of repair, often just for wheelchair access, there's only so many buildings that really need it in town, right? And like somewhere by Chomaze, between Chomaze and ATV, there should be a landing there. Because when they take people into the dentist or the bank or whatever,
Yeah.
and same as the pharmacy.
Yeah.
Like it's the
okay.
pharmacies and Chomaze, honestly, that they gotta access.
Even the front, there's concerns with the wheelchair access at the front here too, so. We're working towards putting together more of a sidewalk inventory program
So-
where you
Yeah,
can keep track of these things.
If we're doing something for budgeting, maybe we should just, if somebody's coming to tune up these things, maybe they could quote on all of them. Like 2 or 3, like the pharmacy, in front of the pharmacies and Chomaze.
Yeah.
And then for the bank, they could go down the street, they could roll on there and go down the street. To the
Would
bank.
that be
At
capital?
the bank, there is a lip
Oh,
for the
okay.
bank right out here.
Well, progressively, you should be looking like next 5 years, pick a number, get most all these sidewalks wheelchair accessible.
And it's not just wheelchair, if I may add, it's the people, say the seniors from Barbie,
Yeah.
they come with the
Yeah.
walkers.
Yeah.
Anyone that needs that accessibility to be inclusive and
Exactly.
to ensure that we're
Yeah.
in compliance.
Lots of the corners have them now, they've changed them, but just some of them down the street. Cause I know Gerald, when they drop them off there, and then you gotta try and get them up that. curb.
No, like, that's an excellent way.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be some sidewalk alterations for wheelchair access or walkers, even right across from the Orthodox Church, right on the corner there, the wedge, or right where the new business opened up.
You see some of these seniors riding
That was
their
close for.
electric carts and that.
Yeah.
Well, those wheelchair ramps will keep them off the street. And you see a lot of them going on the street, and that's more dangerous.
And thank you for that. So what I'm hearing amongst council and admin is that we need a plan. We have to build a plan, and then attached to building the plan would be the cost of rolling out the plan.
Cool.
And
I don't know, without driving by, maybe you're aware of it, because you guys do sidewalks. So right where, the new, business opened up, straight south west of there, on that curve, where it kind of goes onto the street as a wedge, are those sidewalks wheelchair accessible?
Sorry, I'm not too familiar.
By naturally North Bank or what? do you
Yes.
call
Naturally north.
Yeah, right on to going on to 855.
there's no
No, you don't. I'm not. 100%
Because that was supposed to have been on the books for years. That was supposed to be done when I was yet on council, and
and
it was supposed to have been done in this council's, or previous council's scope. So,
okay, as I recall,
but for some reason, the list is not there, I guess, eh?
so as I recall, they're not wheelchair accessible. And there's only one side that has sidewalks because on the front of the curling rink and Whale Park, there's no sidewalks.
So I have a question. What happened to the lists?
I don't
The
know.
men doesn't know about lists, and, cause I think you were there. Unless I was seeing things.
Could very well be.
There should be things on motions. We actually had presenters coming and asking.
But I have a question, how old would this list now be?
So I want to bridge, before there's an answer to the question, I want to bridge the binder that we got at the orientation in the MP study. Sidewalks are on there. I believe so. There's streets, there's paving, there's water, I believe there's sidewalks, and don't quote me, but there's all the water meters and gas meters.
So is the question at hand though, to repair that sidewalk immediately, or are we waiting until we have a big plan before we repair it and
I
risking
would,
getting?
So the determination I thought we left off was it from previous council was it's working with the provincial building. Some of it would be the onus is upon the provincial building or it'll
Correct, the
came back.
town.
The
That
town,
would be the
Okay,
town.
so they came back and said hard.
And that wasn't driven entirely by them. That was me just doing some background research to find out who's legally obligated to repair this. And it's the town. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nestor.
Well, are we finished with the sidewalks? I've got something else to like.
no, I think we're still kind of,
Is it about a sidewalk?
Underneath the sidewalk.
does the provincial building, doesn't mean springtime be the best time to do it, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that probably could align quite well with,
That's why I was bringing up these, because maybe
Oh, I see
just
what you're
get these
saying.
guys to roll in and do them all.
I would incorporate that as part of our infrastructure, assessment, so. I could see that us not necessarily having to make a capital decision on that piece of sidewalk. We're not gonna get to it until then anyways, but I would leave that for the part two capital.
So Nestor, go ahead with your question if it's about a sidewalk.
I don't know. One time, like handicap access was grantable and everybody was taking advantage of it, and now it's kind of dropped off the map. Granting,
Comment or anything? I would like to ask one question before we go on. So when we go back to the pages for the 10-year capital plan, and that's on page 18 and 19, do we have anything flagged for sidewalks over the next year, 2026 or 2027? Thank you so much.
Page 18, 19, you said?
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
There was proposed 20,000 in the 2026 preliminary budget presented.
What page are you on?
Just in the previous discussion.
Oh, you're right.
Items,
Line
yeah.
58. So it's on page 19, line 58. So earmarked is on 2026. There's $20,000 yellow highlighted coming up for 2026. So based on that number, and I think I hear what everyone's saying. Councillor Chern says, please do them to get them come in, flag what you need. Do we think that's the right amount? Or we?
this one is 30,000.
Line 58. No.
Yep.
Yeah, rolls aside,
58, 59,
20 grand.
yeah.
Yeah, and so what I would recommend on that, if I can, is just 20 grand is gonna be a minimum. We know we have over $20,000 in repairs for our sidewalks. I think that's a really good interim amount that allows us to have the flexibility to repair high priority, unsafe conditions as soon as we can get to it, regardless. I think the assessment, when we can come back with that, we're gonna need to allocate a lot more. So I think 20,000 is just a safe interim and a routine practice for us to earmark. But we're gonna have additional money that we need to set aside based on the priorities that come.
Okay, so that's good advice. And to comment to that, thank you for that, CEO Crichton. When we say that we need to earmark the money, where's the money gonna come from?
Well, I would have to dig in to see if there are any grants available. Crystal, do you have any information on what, like, from previous where was there any grant funding that we were able to utilize, or that's also, or did that just come under MSI?
For MSI LGFF.
Yeah.
Capital.
There's the EAF funding, enabling accessibility fund offered right now by the government. Grants for ramps, sidewalks,
Sometimes,
this is on,
yeah, sometimes, and that's really good information. Municipalities don't always qualify, more nonprofits, but something that could be looked at.
maybe just looking into that EAF grant. Do you know anything about this? So it does look like it is for municipalities.
I've never heard of that grant at all. And when I say earmark, that's just something that would be like as part of your 10-year capital plan, but just keeping in mind as council, you're only adopting an annual capital plan, right? You wouldn't be approving anything beyond that anyways.
Right.
It's just something to ensure that we're being mindful of
And it's,
each year.
you're right, and it's a requirement of the act that we adopt the 5-year.
5-year.
Yeah, so Go ahead, Councillor Return.
Back in the previous, the A to N, when you have the line F, you got the sidewalk replacement, so, because we're talking about sidewalks. Which sidewalk was that one that you wanted to replace?
These would just be various, we do have some locations in mind, including the provincial building.
So sit there, you listen.
Oh, so it's already sort of in here a bit.
I did actually list some potential spots here
Yeah, it's listed under like the item description.
in the item description for sidewalk replacement.
Okay, because you got 20 grand there, so all of a sudden you got 20 grand here, 20 grand there, that might start to cover some of these projects. In the budget, like if you have 20 grand on,
That is,
that 20 grand. Okay.
what we're just saying is 20,000 a year is probably what you're gonna look at spending. It, like I said, it'll come back depending on the assessment, but that's minimum earmarking annually. Yeah, and John did provide a list of what is under the 20,000 for 26.
In the future, can a guy shift if we need more money for sidewalks and we didn't spend in other places, we can shift.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and thank you for that. So what I'm looking at, and so I'm trying to hear some of the discussion and thinking to take into consideration, to refresh my memory, recycled Councillor Kodlak and then newer council. On page 21, we have a great table prepared for us. And then we've outlined, these are the current status updates of the existing projects. And we've also in the last column identified the funding source. And I might be mixing up the agenda for tomorrow, but is there any way that it could come back to us for capital? How much we've used and how much we can reuse towards 2026? To speak to the question I asked Molly earlier, where's the money coming from? We need to know where we're at. So could that, where, am I missing it or is that in tomorrow's meeting? I thought I saw.
I know, I looked at tomorrow's stuff too, I'm getting all confused
Yeah.
where it
There
is.
should be an answer.
Right, and so just for newer council, so the MSI has been grandfathered and the new funding source from the government, which is the LGFF. We know the requisite, or we know the allotments, there's not, you were at the conference, the government's not giving more money. So we have to make work what we have, but we'd like to know where we are because if there's some projects that were rolled over from 2025, we might still have some funding remaining that we could put towards 2026, but I'm not the account person. But if that could come back to us, that might help give an overall
Oh, for
picture.
sure.
Yes,
Okay?
Yeah.
So would that be, would you have enough time to do that for December 16th? When we. Okay. Okay, so that's okay with everybody. And then just to redefine, I'm not sure if there was the CB, sorry.
BCB, yeah.
Yeah, is that still ongoing or that's discontinued?
Oh, that's ongoing. I don't know the allocation for 2026 yet, but LGFF, we will be getting roughly 360,000.
And that's capital or operational?
All
Total. All capital.
Yeah.
So I'm referring to on page 23, in the red, the last column, funding source, CCVF. That was a grant that our administration applies for. That's not automatic from the government.
It's automatic.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, we get it every month.
Sorry.
It's not as much as LGFF, but
The one, the CCBF, okay, the sidewalk projects,
Yeah, so that was a grant that we received in 2024.
were 45,000,
Where did you see that?
or that's, am I too far down?
See, I don't know the totals. And once we have that little table in front of us of what is allotted and what is used, we'll have a
Yeah.
better direction as to
Like
what
that, yeah.
is. Because I don't remember it and I remember seeing it, I just don't know.
Say 40,000.
Go ahead, John.
Just to address your point about the 45,000, that was for the sidewalk installation from where the old school was to where the new school was.
Oh, okay.
That's what that costed.
And then you did that little one, some of the gas stations to the forest stall.
44th, yeah.
That was,
How much was that one? That's from my house, okay.
I can't remember offhand.
Only 50,000.
I think we budgeted 50,000. Just shy, fairly below that.
There was, we were recognizing that there was need for safety and.
What they use is all those guys walking this street, when we're going for coffee, they wear black and they walk down the street until they see them.
Oh, no, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Sorry. Okay, so staying on track, would you like a motion or that's okay, that will come back to us when we see the whole picture of the capital budget that is coming. Okay, any more questions? That helps clear some things up or?
Yeah.
Anything else we'd like to talk about in that section? Ready to make the motion? Legally so agreeable today. Thank you again for preparing this. The motion is on page 20. Councillor Scarf. Do you feel that you?
Yes, I can do that. I'd like to make the motion that the town of Smoky Lake accept for information, the 2025 capital project status and financial report as presented.
Any more discussion? Any points of clarity? Seeing none, hearing none, calling the question, all in favor? The motion is carried. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, John and Crystal. They've did a lot. It's a lot of background and legwork behind this, so.
Totally.
That's
where she
alters, that's what it's the big box saying. So.
I don't dare say that.
So, just between Dan and I, we're just wondering, so we captured all the things that we had talked about, the side discussions, sidewalks, bringing back the grant information. That's all, we don't need an additional motion for that from administration?
You know, deletions of, let's say, the grader and all this stuff, so it should be on, it should, yeah, I know, but it should be, all this stuff should be on. Like, fairly.
Yeah, like
Has everything. Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead, yeah.
We captured, between all of us, we captured what needs to
Okay.
complete.
Yeah, good.
So everything's clear, yeah, and the last motion was,
Nothing's missed
based on the project status.
for, yeah.
Thank you. So then that takes us to 5.1, December 16th, December 16th, regular council meeting. CAO Phyton would take a look at that. Or speak to that, sorry. Everyone's looking at me, did I say something wrong?
Pass.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna.
Well, that was easy. I don't even need to speak on this item. What I was going to say was for December 16th, we did talk yesterday about having an IT session through county resources. And so I had a chance to talk to the intern CAO with the county, and she's requesting that council pick some time that falls within their operational hours. So for them to send over staff overtime hours for a non-emergent issue is just something that she would like to avoid. So I would love to recommend to council a bit of a session with council prior to the regular council meeting on the 16th. I did attend that virtual CAO council webinar. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And it touched base on a lot of things that this council team has already been discussing. And I think it gives us some good guidance on some of these things that we want to look at. So I would strongly recommend, if council's open to it, that on December 16th, we could look at having council come in for an IT training session, just an informal session as we discussed, from 3 to 4 p.m. on the 16th. And then if we could participate as a group in that webinar, that's something we can set up. It was just under an hour. And there was really good key representation provided by mayors, councillors, and CAOs. So it's not just a dry presentation, it was interactive Q&A. So the webinar, if we can do that, would be 4 to 5 p.m. I'd like to suggest that. Then we can have an hour break before the meeting starts at 6 p.m. If that is.
Okay, discussion?
So you're asked us to come in.
The county's operational hours for their staff are between 8 and 4 p.m. So I had originally suggested, I think 5 to 6 p.m. for a training session. They would like to utilize their assistants within their working hours. So 3 to 4 could probably capture that. And then I am really recommending that webinar as one of the best probably I've attended for a municipal webinar, and I'd love to be able to pause it, discuss with council, just do it as even like a team building session, and it's very informative as well.
So it was recorded and you
Yeah.
would just be playing it? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just throwing that out there as a,
So would this have to be like an approved council meeting?
It would require, if we agree, it would require some advertising and rescheduling. No, or just,
the regular council meeting is already,
So it's just informal. You just have to make it a council approved event.
it wouldn't be open to the public.
so what's everyone's thoughts going around the room?
Attendance for me might be a problem.
Might be for me too, but whatever it is, it is.
So,
You know, to attend the meeting, like the actual meeting, yeah,
Okay.
but that earlier stuff. It's all depends whether,
okay, so let's keep going around the room. Do you feel like you've got to say what, and you're,
I'm not promising.
Okay.
Meeting, yes,
and so there is a bit of a commitment, so if we're doing something, I think generally speaking, I'd like to see us all do it and create that, doing things in unison, so, but we'll go around the room and we'll come back, okay?
well, if
We
that's,
wanna give you
if that's
options.
the case, I'll do my best to attend, but it's,
Okay, and I get it, it's 2 weeks away, it's before Christmas, and so let's go around the room and we'll make a general consensus, would that be okay?
Yeah, when we're all in the same boat, including when we say yes to one thing, we're saying no to another. For me, I think the tech training for me is not a priority. I think the other thing that you mentioned sounds really great because that's learning how a council runs, all that kind of stuff. I just, yeah, to have another 6 hour, like if we can do the 4 to 5 and take away the tech training, I know you, like how important is the tech training? I need that to be a conversation because again, I'm saying no to things that are really important to me, my family and my kids. So I just cannot keep saying yes to everything.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for your honesty. We'll let Edmund weigh in after. Councilor Kudla? I assume you're looking at your calendar?
Yeah, I was looking at the calendar, don't holler at me.
Caller? You can
I
pass.
know there's a commitment, but it's getting a little bit much. For everything being pushed into. I know we just had an election and all of this other thing. But it's getting a little much on the. Asks for trying to get this thing. I think we have to start spreading things out a little bit more. No different than. Your comments that you need time to have things done too.
Yeah.
So. Cause we have other commitments too besides just strictly council.
Before I speak, I'm gonna ask Councilor Chern, would you like to weigh in?
Oh, I agree 100%. They say it's a lot, it's a lot.
So, what I'm hearing, I will weigh in. I appreciate that you've gone to the effort to contact county and that we could share that resource. I would love to. My schedule is a little bit more flexible, but I don't want to be the only one that now is taking time out to come. I agree to take the webinar on my time. I can take it at that time as well, but I don't have to take it I don't want to use your time, so the meeting itself, yes, thank you for doing that. I don't think, so I'm gonna weigh in, and I'm probably not gonna have any friends in the room, but we are paid a monthly honorarium of $450, and I think that should cover your webinar. So if you're in the comfort of your own home and you want to take the course, that's great. I support that. I would not support it being a council approved event. I think part of our learning and it's just See, I'm not gonna have any friends, but I'm
No,
interested in
the
learning and I
amount
would
of-
take.
Sorry, Madam Mayor. The amount of
Yeah.
paperwork that we have done, you know, you brought up about the honorariums thing. We spent that honorarium long time.
Well, it's where you look at it, right?
If you start doing that form of measurement.
Okay.
And that's not really fair,
And-
because believe me, there's no money in this.
Well,
it's-
but you know what, I feel that we're all committed on our own level, and I'm not judging myself against someone, and those are the values, but I do appreciate that admin has gone to do that, and so what I'm hearing is maybe it's a really good idea, maybe the timing is a little long. So I'd like to just maybe put it into the new year and come back and appreciated that everybody's candidness and honesty, and thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the comments. If I could suggest we keep it on the table and look at it sometime in January or onward. There's valuable conversations, like I think that with myself, with the group that we can have as we go through the webinar, I really strongly, based on what was shared there, it was so well done, and I think that we can use it as a team building exercise too, rather than have everybody watch it individually and not have the same conversation. So if we can look at it in January, that would be great. I more so wanted to I was just trying to stack everything, which I understand is hard. I more wanted consensus this time regarding the IT session. And if council feels that there's no merit in it, that is fine. We don't have to look at doing that. What I wanted to do is set up something with council as a whole, so we received all of the same training and have the same opportunity. Carly is not our IT assistant. She's fantastic, but it's beyond like what Carly can deal with individually with council members one-on-one for IT training session. So I did want to offer that as like a group setting and have somebody that is an IT person. So if we want to look at a different date for that, IT or not at all, that is totally fine. But I'm just trying to get something scheduled so that we're not struggling with our devices and the SharePoints and the forms. We've sent a lot of things out that are electronically, and I just want people to be able to utilize them and not be frustrated with the tools. That's all.
But
Go ahead. I have Councillor Scarp and then Councillor Goodluck, please.
Can I suggest, because I do see merit in it and value, and I know Carly has been a big help to many of us just in doing the little things. But can I just suggest that we push it, because like Councillor Kodalek said, there's a lot happening right now. And I don't agree with doing it on our own time, because again, I agree with Dan Kodalek that if we're doing something for the county, then time is money, in my opinion. And again, we're saying yes to one thing and saying no to something else.
Thank you, heard and understood. Thank you.
so I pull up all the emails. Thank you, Carly. It's very easy to navigate. Go through, click on, open file,
Thank you.
review, zoom in, because you can't see the lettering, because you're blind, because everything's too small. And no, it's even on the other devices.
It was on your calendar.
Yeah, and everything goes on. Double check your calendar, make sure you don't miss anything. Cause
But SharePoint-
there's a lot of things that don't go on the calendar with our committees that don't perhaps catch. So it's just,
We can take a few of each, please.
I don't know. I don't wanna start opening up a Microsoft, training session. I'm trying to get whole week in 1 hour's work. That's not gonna happen.
And thank you for that. So one more time for me, and I appreciate and respect what you said. Sometimes I put it out there for myself, not to take away from a team building activity. It's just, if I write it down and you see it on my report, I don't want you to say, well, what is she doing? Just that awareness that, hey, I might take this webinar. And I do appreciate, we got the email today. I appreciate that as well as a heads up, okay? So I do respect the intention it's brought forward. from what I'm hearing, it's no at this time, if it can be brought back in January, and thank you for the offer and for reaching out to the county to get us now. And for Carly for the work.
No
Yes,
problem.
go ahead.
I agree 100% with that. I'm on my phone when I get the things, easy. For me, I open, not up, easy. Once we get into that IT stuff, not personally myself, waste of time, I'm just, that's not in my game. And I don't understand this stuff and it'll take me too much. I won't gather nothing from it.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted it to be council session too. Like, I think the informal approach is a good idea, because then it's whatever you need. I just passed these forms along because it comes back to, again, we have a couple of electronic tools, like we've released when council wants information on something or council wants a follow-up on something for it to be vetted to the CAO, those are the forms that we released. And I don't know where everybody stands in terms of filling them out, whether that's on PDF, and that was part of the session I wanted to provide. However, we can accept them filled out by hand. I want everybody to have some copies. If you need more, let us know. If you want to do them by hand or not, that is totally fine. Bottom line is, if council is asking for information, especially if it does take some response time, please take a time to fill those out so that we can come back with something prepared. I do respectfully ask that if council is requiring information, and especially if it is operational related, to just please, again, fill that out. If it's something simple, just give me a call as a CAO, and from there I'll get the information for you. If we kind of have these one-off inquiries with staff and, I'll say putting them on the spot is sometimes how it feels to some staff. If they feel caught off guard, or if they're at work and they get a random phone call or a visit asking for something, they can sometimes feel pressured to give inaccurate information on the spot. And I just want to avoid that. I want anything we provide council, I want it to be well thought out and prepared. And I want it to work for everybody. And I just want everybody to be respectful of those processes. So that's why I wanted to hand these forms out today as well.
And thank
So
you
don't
for that.
phone in the office anymore?
Not when she's not, no.
Okay, and so to speak to that, before I have your hand, so to speak to that, to recap, not only is it fair and the right thing to do, it's in the MGA that we are all to receive the information at the same time. So if I'm coming in and saying that I would like access to this information, it's putting our staff they're serving now me and they're taking it from something else, and then you're not getting it in real time either. So I think it's only fair that we follow the act and set a precedence, so.
I don't think anybody likes surprises. And I think that using these, I know it'll take some time to get used to, but I think once we get used to using the forms, it will really help. So there's, just to recap, there's the CIR forms, that's the councilor information request form. That's when you need some information. The other one is for when you're adding items to the agenda. And so just keep in mind that as per procedural bylaw, we do ask for 10 days ahead of time to add something to the agenda. So with our next meeting taking place December 16th, that deadline for adding to that agenda is Friday. So, going forward, I think Councillor Scarp, you brought up a perfect example of how would I bring something forward to get it added. You would fill out that form and provide us with what you can, and it just lets us take it away and come back with something prepared for you. And I do want to say that is also for both open and closed session items. Yeah, so just so that everybody is well prepared and everybody's getting the same information,
So
use that for that.
we're gonna remove that part out of the agenda? Additions?
So additions at the meeting are covered in our procedural bylaw. That's more for emergent issues. And that's what I want us to work more towards, is if we are adding something at the meeting, it needs to be an emerging item and it needs the consensus of council's vote to have it added. So that's, if we were doing that properly, that's in our bylaw, that's how we would do the additions on the spot.
Unanimously,
Yeah.
unlike what I did last meeting.
I mean, it's just something we're gonna work towards, just so that we have everything for you, that's all.
And it streamlines the process.
Yes.
So we have some grace because so there's times you feel that you need to go to the office, but then look at what the ask is. Maybe I'd like to do things collectively. We're 5 people in one team, and if if you have a question, I don't know the answer, then we can, we're cautious, we can't start discussing things prior to a meeting, but just so that there's some parameters and that we're using the best time for our. Go ahead.
So just for transparency, so I had just a question, I was going over the procurement policy and just not understanding it. So if I have a question like that, do you want us to bring it, I just wanna do it correctly, cause I just messaged you saying, hey, do you have time just that I thought you could explain a little bit to me with the jargon and, would it be better to do a counselor inquiry form? Or is that still okay to just come and ask like informal, hey, can you just explain this to me?
So what you sent me by email is fantastic, because it first of all gives me a heads up. I can dedicate some time in my day to deal with this, but
Yeah.
If it's an educational thing, I
Yeah.
think that, yeah, well, I have an obligation as CAO to help educate council, and that can be individual. I think more so what needs to come to this table is when there's, I would say, more of a concern or a request for operational information or any information of the organization that the rest of council needs to be aware of. If you're asking for your own individual awareness and education on something that's already in place, that's
And then
simply an
coming out of
education.
any kind of meeting or, educational stuff, then we could say, okay, I actually wanna bring this to council or.
If you thought there was a revision to the policy, for example, that needed to be discussed, and we would bring that, you would fill out that form,
Okay.
we would bring it forward.
Okay.
Yeah, if
So
it's just an awareness.
anything informational that for clarification, you want me to fill out a form instead of phoning. If I can't find anything, unfortunately, all my paperwork's disappeared. And I used to keep very good files, and I can go by date, month, right down to the date to find out certain information. So I lost all that. And now I'm finding out that a lot of this stuff doesn't even exist in towns files. So I have no idea. And the thing is, I know it was there. And it's just, everybody talks about paper trails. Well, unfortunately, my paper trail's gone. So this is where I'm at on dealing with stuff. So any asks, everything has to be by paper. No pun intended.
Okay, I'm putting my hand up because I'm gonna speak next. Thank you for that. I think what I'm hearing in the room amongst council is that there's some communication concerns. We're all in different places for technology and time and what is the best practice moving forward. So collectively, we're, as I said, a team. Maybe we can consider sending an email or just you can pick up the phone and talk to me and then we can, it might be the same concern, I might share your concern, then we can move it forward so that we're all in alignment. And so coming up next in the meeting is the new CAO, or sorry, the new council check-in. I want to put these things on the table. We haven't had that opportunity and we want to find the path forward that meets the needs of everyone.
What I've seen is lots of change in the last councils,
Always,
the direction,
always. Changes.
policy, direction of administration has changed. And I'm struggling with, I thought things ran fairly smooth before. So now, not saying that the simplest question can't get asked, but it seems like I have to fill out paperwork to find it out. So maybe that's an unfair statement. So sorry about that. It's just I'm prone to change, or I have a problem changing because when I'm in a certain state and things have been done for so many decades and everything's been working smooth and
No, I think we're,
yes,
we're gonna bookmark that.
yes.
Hang on, hold up. So we're gonna bookmark that. We have agenda items. We're way off the agenda. We're coming back to the point.
Oh,
we're
pertaining
at-
to the sheet.
Hold it.
Sorry, Madam Mayor.
Okay, we're at
Apologize.
13.1. We're talking about the IT. We made a decision collectively. There was another part that we deferred from yesterday. And it was regarding a certain counselor's laptop, if there was being a
Sorry.
motion at this time.
Madam Mayor, you know what? Leave it alone. I'm not even entertaining that anymore. And, thought, I'm not even gonna bring it up, what administration said to do and then direction of council, whatever. It's a done deal. It's a wash. I'm fine with everything. So,
Thank you for that.
yeah. you're welcome.
I want to feel that everyone is valued and heard and we're having respectful conversations. So in the event that there is a future consideration, please bring it forward, make a motion, and we'd be happy to.
I got direction on behalf of men and to see who go forward to bring it to council's attention, so. Or went the other way if I didn't feel that it was fair for a min to buy that form of device when she said, yeah, there's money in the budget. No. You can't just spend money because one counselor wants a preference in a particular device. That's not fair. It's all about fairness amongst all council. So don't worry about it. I did well today. I can look after it.
Thank you. I'm going to make a motion to accept the verbal information presented under 13.1, deferred from yesterday as presented. Any more discussion? All in favor? The motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to 13.2, I brought that forward as the last minute agenda item. And thank you for indulging me and letting that come forward. It is the town tour debrief. Thank you again to administration. It was very informative. We had some good discussions and we went off the itinerary, but we got to see a lot of things and we had some side discussions that I think I'd like to make sure they come forward. So it could be something not necessarily in December, but maybe in January. One of the issues I'd like to make mention of at this time from a community member at the curling rink, they usually have a shared defibrillator with the golf course. They share the seasonal items. So the defibrillator is part-time at the golf course in summer, then comes back to the curling rink at the winter. It is not back there. The concerns community member was wondering if it should go to Mr. Scott Franchik, the president of the curling rink, or if as a town-owned building, not sure who owns the defibrillator, if the town administration could take care of that for us so that Mr. Franchik is not doing the work of maybe administration or contacting the golf course, just so, as a follow-up piece. And I'd like that framed in a motion so that we can track it, to not let the community member down. And also on the town tour, I think that if we all did some debriefing at home, if there was certain discussions that we had about the public legal laws or anything that might have come up and you have future questions that were not answered because of the time and maybe the loudness of the bus and the conversations, that they could come forward perhaps in January. That would be my suggestion. And at this time, I'd like to make a motion that the town of Smoky Lake approve the town tour taken on December 2nd as a council approved event. We do not have a motion, so you're welcome to vote against it. I believe it could be paid. Again, I appreciate everything that was done to facilitate it, and that's my motion at this time. Any more discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, all in favor? The motion is carried. Thank you. Carly, any other, is there any requirements from administration, for that motion or?
No, I just.
Sorry, can I just, yeah, I voted yes and I'm not, like, what did I even vote? Can you repeat? Sorry.
So it was maybe too fast. So we did we met as council and we did not we talked about scheduling the tour, we booked it, the administration got the bus and everything. It was not coming forward as a town council approved event.
Okay.
So in order to have it in part of the pay or the minutes even, or why we're doing
We're approved that.
yeah, so do you feel that you were pressured into voting and would like that redone, or?
I just would like you to restate, you're just approving the event as a town approved event. Okay, council approved it. Yes, okay, thank you. Okay. So tired, so I'm like,
No, but please,
What just
please,
happened?
I'm new to this,
Okay.
we're all new, if it's going too fast, please,
Thank you.
I'd
I
rather you
appreciate that.
stop me and let's discuss it. And if there are
No, I
any points of
appreciate that.
clarity, then, okay, so then moving on to 14.1, or that was 14.2, it was new council check-in. There could be an opportunity to go into closed session, but I will speak to that first and being mindful of our time. I had a chance to go through everyone's, and so I'm probably a little bit overdue. It would have been nice if I would have done this the first meeting. I went through everyone's brochures that they were campaigning, and I'd like to congratulate everyone and welcome them to our new team and for taking the chance to run and be elected, not to take the chance to be elected, but for congratulations on being elected. And so a common theme amongst all of us was some of the priorities that we stood for. And it goes to the common threads were healthcare, RCMP or protective services, safety in the community, fire services, recreation, and cultural initiatives. And I look at my friend with the Ukrainian there. So I'm curious as to say, I'd like to get to know you. What made you want to run for council? And if that's a conversation you'd like to have in closed session, if there's things that could come up, identify some of the key priorities. I'm not saying we have to have it today. It's something that could come back. But again, getting to know our team, and if you'd like administration to sit in on that or something, it's something that a lot of newly elected councils do. And maybe I'm remiss in not doing it in October, that at this time, I think it's important. But one more agenda item after this. So I'm looking around the room. Would you like to defer it or would you like to get into it?
10 minutes? Big discussion.
Yeah, or so
So what do you want?
I want to get to know you better.
Why did I run?
Well, no, but
You know why I run, I didn't get any answers, I asked a lot of questions, I didn't get any answers, so I hit my head and I decided to put my papers in. I had a big ruler over here and,
Closed session is fantastic tool.
yeah, and anyways,
so
here we are.
I
well,
think we should defer.
okay, and just it's a heads up, so it'll come back to us. Maybe I'm too late for December, but I think it's an important conversation. And if you tell me that you don't want to have it, that's fine.
If I can suggest, what I'd like to bring forward to the December 16th meeting is some scheduled dates that we can plug in for strategic planning. And those conversations are so directly tied to strategic planning.
Yeah.
It's a time to flesh out what council heard, first of all, why they ran and what they heard, which can be two different things. But it is an opportunity to have those conversations, and from there is where we find the alignment, and that's where we start going into what its strategic priorities are. So you can do that as an informal workshop. It's a closed setting anyways, and you can spend a day, or I don't know if it's a conversation that's just 10 minutes.
Okay.
I think that might be a better.
Well, and thank you for that. Part of it just, it was on my radar and I had it written down and I just didn't want to lose sight of it. So again, now it's on everybody's radar. So don't fall and bump your head, okay?
I didn't fall, I put the bars right there and I just turned around and they're there.
Okay, so I'm going to frame the motion as the new council check-in will be deferred to a future meeting of council or workshop or otherwise. All in favor? The motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. And at this time, we're going to go into closed session at 7:49 with a motion to personnel. deferred from yesterday evening, the HTIA is section 29, but it's 20.
20.
Sorry, section 20, yeah, I always say 29, so thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your,
You didn't call a question.
yeah, everyone in favor? Motion is
And
carried.
shouldn't we thank the
Looking for a motion to come out of closed session at 8:39 PM.
I move.
Counselor Kodlak, all in favor, motion is carried. The motion would be to defer the personnel issue to tomorrow evening's meeting for closed session discussion. ATIA section 20. All in favor? Motion is carried. Motion to adjourn at 8:39.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Counselor Churn has that motion. All in favor? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Tomorrow.